Kaps mga Atenista, it's time to level up! Your top variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Fridays from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Level up! All Kaps, mga kapamilya, kapuso, kapatid, kabarkada, mga katipuneros. It's time to level up with your host, multi-awarded multimedia guru Noel Ferrer here on All Kaps, Ateneo Level Up.
Hello, we're all good, we're all ready, and we have all the best. All Kaps mga Atenista dito lang sa Ateneo Campus Radio. It's time for Ateneo to level up. This is your top variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields as we feature our most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. This is the Welfare Batch 1989 na actually malapit na yung ignition. It'll be our 30th anniversary after graduation. So nagkakabukingan na ng edad. No? So philosophy major, broadcom sa graduate school. Before anything else, again, panata namin ito. We'd like to call on all the students and friends of our dear Fads, Father Nim Gonzalez. Fads Nim Gonzalez. He's launching his book, Confessions of an Ex-Jesuit, on December 8th, 3 o'clock. Mass at the Church of Yazoo, and then at 4 o'clock book signing at the Faber Hall after. So December 8th, we'll all be there. That's a Sunday, I think. So we will see each other there. So Fads Nim Gonzalez will be there. And today we shall really try to hear the voices of the Ateneans in media. So ang dami pong naganap within the week, and then but the concentration really is what we're opening tomorrow. We'll have the opening ceremonies of the SEA Games, the Southeast Asian Games at the Philippine Arena. So we'll talk to, we'll have the voices of different broadcasters or different reporters, different journalists na nagkaroon ng base dito sa Ateneo. So we'll try to calling the first one already. We'll have Bill Velasco on the line first because he has a meeting at 3:30. And then after Bill, we'll have representatives from ABS-CBN and GMA na mga Atenista din. So marami tayong galing dito sa Loyola Heights. Tapos nun, after that, we'll have our major guest, the one who'll be here with me today, si Quintin Jose Pastrana. Actually, Q yung tawag namin sa kanya. He's with ANC, but he was formerly with Bloomberg, and he has lots of other things. Ang tawag nga dyan, Renaissance man. No? So, we'll get to know him better and his stand on certain issues and his advocacies and a lot of other things to learn from this very inspiring person who's like 5 years my junior. Kasama naman sila sa 25th anniversary. Parang nag-25th anniversary na isa-celebrate sa Ignatian. So anyway, we have on the line Bill Velasco. Hello, Bill.
Hi, Noel. Good
Hello, how are you? So yan, bago 3:30, kailangan mo pasok ka dito. Bill is a very respected sports analyst. He has to be on the air because we have to hear him. Actually, hindi lang dapat dito, kundi sa lahat ng media platforms. Bill, what's keeping you busy now? Are you going to the opening tomorrow of the SEA Games?
No, because, one, I'm not really officially covering the Southeast Asian Games. I've done 12 or 13 of them already, so it's okay to let the younger people take their
I know,
turn
but
at
you're
it.
looking at it from outside, no? At least a more
Yes.
objective point of view. You are in the news now, Bill, because of what you wrote about the SEA Games. Well, actually, can media be neutral in all these? Parang ako yung sinasabi, parang everyone's calling for a truce, wag na raw magsalita. Pero, I read what you wrote, and then even nga, actually, para kang prophet, no? All the things that you wrote, ginawa mo naman yan bago pa mag-SEA Games.
Yes, and actually, the whole issue about the cauldron is what ignited a lot of this controversy. And we're not bashing the SEA Games. We've never, none of the media have ever said anything bad about the athletes.
Yeah,
they are our foot soldiers. We are trying to protect them. We are trying to protect the people's money. And there are a lot of wrong opinions about the cauldron, no? To begin with,
propriety yung naging issue, Bill.
Yeah, tsaka yung gastos, bakit kailangan ganon. It was commissioned work. It was not bidded out.
Yeah.
And a lot of things being said about it, that it's cheaper than the cauldrons of other countries. Well, there's no standard price, first of all. And secondly, I know great Filipino artists who've made more enduring monuments for less than that.
I know, but well, I guess the conflict of interest came in there when the one who called the shots of a certain Dizon, no, is connected pala or related to the national artist. Pero well, of course, it's beyond the talk. So more than that, it's a home court advantage that they're talking about. Parang hindi raw natin ma-enjoy kasi hindi tapos yung mga edifice, no?
Well, no. One that has nothing to do with the athletes, no.
Yes.
In 2005, we only spent 300 million on the Southeast Asian Games, and now we're spending 6 billion.
Okay.
No, not including what it costs to build the sports complex in New Clark City. So there are a lot of things that still need to be unearthed and still need to be investigated. And we are doing this because we felt bad also that some of these venues were not ready in time.
Yeah.
And the athletes therefore lost some of the home court advantage we're supposed to have.
That's true, di ba?
But when you talk about supporting the athletes, walang
Ikaw pa
tataas sa
ba?
Pilipino.
Ikaw pa ba? Yung dati, you're featuring all of them and you're supporting them. Di ba dati? Well, you were witnesses to that.
Yeah, if you read my column tomorrow in the Philippine Star, it is a love letter to the Filipino athlete.
That's good.
We are here for you no matter what.
That's good.
Because you are the best of the Filipino. So, we're looking out for them. We're protecting them because everything that happens adds pressure to them.
Yes.
Pag hindi dumating yung equipment, pag hindi natapos yung venue, they're the ones always making the adjustments. Pag hindi dumating yung uniform, pag kinapos yung allowances na delay, I mean, everything becomes their problem, even if it doesn't involve them. So that's the main beef here.
That's true.
Where's the protection for the Filipino athlete?
At kayong mga sports reporters, sports analysts, nakikita nyo yan from before, di ba? Na parang, nasaan yung priority? Dapat inuna talaga. Ngayon, they're harping about the athletes' welfare, pero dapat yun talaga yung inuna more than anything.
Hindi, ang sinasabi namin, sinasabi nyo para sa bayan, kaya nga namin ginagawa ito. Because this is taxpayers' money, this is government money, no?
Yeah.
And they're trying to pass the blame to the Philippine Sports Commission. The Philippine Sports Commission, by law, is there to support any national sports endeavor. And FISGOC is a private entity, but the money has to go through a disbursing agency, which is the Philippine Sports Commission. In fact, the Philippine Sports Commission is not really concerned with the Southeast Asian Games.
That's
because
true.
they're preparing the athletes for their individual world championships and
the Olympics.
And the Tokyo Olympics. That's
true.
right. So, yung mga ginawang venue ng Philippine Sports Commission, ng PSC, is really part of their development and grassroots program. They've spent over $1 billion this year on athletes overseas training and another 300 million on sports medicine training, trainers training, coaches training, and all of that. So hindi sila nagkukulang. FISGO cannot pass the blame onto anybody.
That's true. And then now, ang sinasabi, ceasefire daw muna, Bill. Well, what do you feel about that? What do you say about that?
Well, that's a form of censorship. No, we can't just write everything that's positive. Okay, of course, some of the other media.
But most of the accounts naman were really accounts from the athletes themselves, di ba?
Well, yeah, most of them, no. And when you talk about bias and all of that, may rin naman nagkakamali. So what's important is if you make a mistake, you own up to it and you correct it.
And do something
right away.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like in my case, I can only speak for the Philippine Star. We really make it a point to vet all our stories and
That's true.
to check all. In fact,
And
the
get
reason I
all
was
the sides, no?
Yeah, the reason I was able to write that about the holding was because I had a copy of the budget.
At grabe yung research doon. Parang kita na yun. Yeah.
And it's a public document because there's a copy in both houses of Congress. There's a copy of the Philippine Sports Commission, Philippine Olympic Committee, and Malacanang, and FISGOC. So everybody has this and nobody's talking about it. So I don't see why I'm the bad guy.
Oh, yeah. So, saan nagkaroon ng breakdown ng system, you think?
Some of it is really in communication.
Okay.
Some of it is in training of the personnel involved. Just to give you an example.
Yeah.
The problems with accreditation. When I covered the Olympics, and this was back in 1996.
Oh, grabe.
Sa airport pa lang, kinuna na kami ng litrato, binigay na sa amin yung access passes.
Ganon ka-efficient, huh?
Yeah, and if you know some motoring journalists, whenever they go abroad, like the Tokyo Motor Show or other events, they get their IDs weeks in advance. So why can't this happen here? Plus, simple common sense. You have one line for everybody who needs accreditation.
Yeah.
They're talking about athletes, coaches, trainers, media, guests, and I mean that's stupid. You know, there should be a separate line for each, and there should be separate places for people to get their accreditation.
But Bill, we were able to do it before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, nasan yung breakdown ng lahat ng communications?
Yeah, it's basically not preparing the people for what needs to be done.
Okay.
You know, I was informed how many months ago that I was being considered to train the volunteers, and it never happened. So now my main concern really is how do we train people? How do we prepare them? How do we, get them
Pero ngayon parang stopgap measure na, di ba? Kasi nandyan na yung problema eh. So parang sasaluhin na lang.
And dito mo naman makikita yung bayanihan.
Yeah, that's
even
true.
the people who are not gaining anything from it are jumping in and
yung donation ng buses, yung resources, no? Personal resources.
Tsaka hindi lang yun, Noel. When you look at the budget, you break it down. 183 million pesos for catering.
Yeah.
Okay? A lot of the volunteers will not be able to benefit from that because they're dispersed all over the place.
That's true.
They cannot go to a centralized mess. Secondly, there are so many fabulous Filipino, multinational food corporations that would be more than glad to sponsor, donate, give discounts, and bring that budget down. No?
Correct.
So, I mean, there are ways around it. I always use the example of the 1984 Olympics. The sponsors were asked to build all the venues.
Yan nga, no? Ang galing.
Tsaka private sector yon. And then the government never spent a single cent. No? So, that's 1984. So, dun yun na nakakalungkot na parang...
Pero ito daw, hiniram pa natin, parang loan to from the Malaysian bank.
I think that issue is regarding the sports complex.
The sports complex, okay.
Kasi yung budget for the SEA Games is broken down among Department of Budget and Management, FISGOC, and the Philippine Sports Commission.
And our fellow Atenean, si Teddy Boy Locsin, who replaced si Cayetano sa Foreign Affairs, said hindi niya talaga gagalawin yon nung nasa Foreign Affairs na siya. So parang that whole issue of leadership kasi ang dami ngayon pati si Christy Ramos Alasco, di ba, parang now are saying sana nagtulungan na lang tayo kasi may mga experiences to ng facilitating ng Olympics or yung games, ng Asian Games, ng SEA Games. Parang bakit hindi nangyari?
The budget actually only came out belatedly, and a lot of people were not consulted.
Okay.
This was pretty much kept among themselves. So, yun ang issue, no?
Okay.
In fact, one of the things I mentioned is this. How come our main highways and even the venues themselves are not plastered with billboards
That's
and
true.
banners
That's
announcing the SEA Games.
That's true.
You know, you now you see this week you see a couple, you see some of them on the
Naghabol,
MRT,
di ba?
you
Pati yung
know.
mga
Yeah.
tarps, di ba? Parang kulang na lang isulat kamay.
Kaya nga, so bakit ganon?
Yeah,
Bakit
yeah.
parang napakatahimik nitong SEA Games na to? And if not for the broadcasters, we would not
Yes.
know that there's a SEA Games.
Yes.
Right? So yun ang ano ko, yun
Actually.
ang sinasabi ko na bakit parang napakatahimik nitong SEA Games na to.
Well, maingay na ngayon because of a lot of other issues, no? But
Yeah.
Bill,
But
ano pa
let's
yung
focus on the
biggest
athletes.
Ano
Let's
pa yung
focus on the
biggest
athletes.
hurdles natin na dapat malampasan nitong organizing committee in the conduct of the SEA Games in the next few days?
I think the biggest challenge there is humility.
Oh.
That you know, we can't do it all ourselves, and we
Yeah.
need help, and we enjoin the public and everybody to support. I'm glad some schools canceled classes, so now the
Yes.
students can watch the games.
Yes.
You know, and that's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
ano tayo?
Bayanihan spirit or
bayanihan.
suporta,
Tulungan na
no?
tayo. Yeah, suportahan natin. Yan ang nagpapatayan ng mga atleta natin. Eh. Ano
Correct.
pa ba magagawa natin?
More learnings, Bill. Ano pa yung, well, what are the things to be learned from all these?
Hire the professionals to do the job.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, let's put our ego aside and just think of who's the best person for the job and get that person.
Ganda, no? Excellence
Yeah.
and conscience and goodwill. So, balik tayo
Exactly.
sa pagiging Atenista mo naman. Anong batch ka ulit, Bill?
86.
86. And I think your batchmates are the ones running the opening ceremonies tomorrow, di ba? Sila yung
I don't
nandun.
know.
But, Bill, when you are in the field now, ano yung advantage ng pagiging, Atenista mo dun sa pagko-cover? Is there more rigor in terms of like research like that?
Well, that's one. Secondly, the facility for language.
That's true.
Critical thinking, and of course the values. I mean, that's always what's guided me.
Di ba, Bill? It's a conscience. Parang it's
Yes,
that.
exactly.
It spells a difference. At tipong,
Exactly.
sa lahat ng ito tatanungin mo bakit at para kanino. Parang
Exactly.
in the end, why are we like supporting this or like coming out with these articles? And nakabase yun talaga in something na dapat may kabutihan to para sa mas marami.
Tama
Yun
naman.
eh. So, your answer to those critics na ikaw yung single out na kasalanan ng mga nagninega.
Hindi, we're just doing our job. And then they're telling, some people are telling us, why don't we file cases and so on? Well, it's because of what they've written that there are investigations going on. And why don't you file a case? It's your money too, right?
That's true. That's true. That's
Pera
true.
ng tao yan eh.
Yeah. So what are your other efforts in helping the sports community, Bill, now?
I'm actually going to be in Subic this weekend to support the Sepak Takraw
That's
team.
very good.
Yeah,
And you're
so,
coming out with a yearbook. You have to announce
yes,
that.
of course.
Na
For the
first time na mga
in
sports
83
personalities yung nandun,
Yes.
mga icons.
Oh, yeah. First time, 50 greatest Filipino athletes.
That's very good.
In
That's
that
very
book,
good.
yeah.
So kung gusto nila ng positive highlight, yan yung mga ginagawa mo ngayon. Well, it's really being critical in order to come up with something more positive for the country.
Exactly.
Thank you, Bill, and we're proud of what you're doing, and
Thank
we're
you,
just here
Noel.
to support you. Maraming
Thank you,
salamat.
appreciate it.
Batch
Salamat
what
po.
again?
86.
Okay, thank you. On to your meeting now at 3:30.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Noel.
much, Bill. That's Bill Velasco. Well, karamihan sa mga anak niya dito na rin nag-aral dito sa Ateneo, no? So, well, tama yun, no? It's really competence, but a lot of people are brilliant. But then in the end, what separates us probably will be that thing, that conscience part. Na tipong hindi natin ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay para lang makapagnega or para makapanira ng kapwa, kung di yun. Ibabalik mo sa konsyensya kung nakakabuti ba to sa nakararami. So, yun naman yung tinuro sa atin. Well, anyway, we'll just play some Christmas music first from the Jesuit Music Ministry catalog, and then we'll like try to talk to two people, my junior media personalities, one from ABS-CBN and one from GMA7, and we'll see how they stand in certain issues now confronting the SEA Games and more issues about our country. Ito po muna yung mga kanta mula sa Jesuit Music Ministry.
Taon na lang pareho din ang iyong pinaplano. Ngayon mo na kailangan ng totoong pagbabago. Wag mo na kayang palampasin, wag mo na kayang
puso't isip siyang huwara. Doon sa silangan niya, tanawin tuwina, halimbawa na payak na buhay. Ating iwasan ang pagnanasang lahat ay kunti. Buhay niya ang itim. Papayapa ang mundo kung tayo'y mabagot, maghintay sa pagsilang ng ihanda ang sarili at ang buong sambayanan. Pagtunggaling kalibutan, pagmamarambot ay dalilan, anyayahan sa puso't isip siyang huwara. Doon sa silangan niya, tanawin tuwina, ang pasakit ng Kristong sumapit. Sa karuka ay nagmula, magandang balita ng Diyos, bugtong na anak ng Diyos. Hindi mo man mahigtan sarili, at maghintay sa pagsilang ng kamahalan. Ihanda ang sarili at ang buong sambayanan. Pagtunggaling kalibutan, pagmamarambot ay dalilan, anyayahan sa puso't isip siyang huwara. Kung babalik tayo sa pinagmulan niya, higit na makabuluhan ang maghintay sa pagsilang ng kamahalan. Ihanda ang sarili at ang buong sambayanan. Pagtunggaling kalibutan, pagmamarambot ay dalilan, anyayahan sa puso't isip siyang huwara. Anyayahan sa puso't isip siyang
Ulit-ulit kang nagplano. Level up!
nice to really set everything in the Christmas mood. Actually, when I came in, may paandar si Justin dito na may sakit ng konti. So, pwede kayo magpadala ng arms. Meron pa lang pa Christmas at meron na po kami sa likod na pa Merry Christmas. At Joy, thank you, Joy. Nandito na yung rasyon namin ng sustenance. So, yun. Salamat, Joy is always at the Salcedo Market every Saturday. Tapos, nandun sa Ayala the 30th. Dinagdagan, di ba? Sa may Meralco, sa may that Avenue sa Ortigas. Tapos nun, she's also in Rockwell. And then, kanina, I was so overwhelmed. I saw this exhibit. I missed this last Sunday. Not Visual Noise. It's a collection of all the photographs of artists, photographs and artworks. Guest curator is Angel Velasco Shaw. It was inaugurated last Sunday, and then it will run until the 29th of March. So mahaba pa yung oras, pero it's so riveting. I posted some in my Instagram and social media accounts. I am Noel Ferrer sa FB. Pakitingnan po kasi kakilabutan lang kayo dun sa exhibit na to sa Arete. So it's free. You have to catch it bago matapos. Don't say na mahaba pa yung oras, pero yun, ito talaga kikilabutan ka sa ginawa nila. Sabi ko nga, what the politicians cannot do, what media is afraid to do, the artists actually can. So ito yung pagpapatunay nun. Tapos, thank you also to McDonald's. Meron siya kanina na chocolate, tawag doon? Chocolate bar. Anong tawag doon? Chocolate pie. Anyway, there's a Stripes run on December 1 is a Sunday, no? So, it's there at the Mall of Asia. So, trivia pala. Sa McDonald's, you welcome one new family in the roster next year. And we just knew about it this week. Sana bonggat mag-major impact. Anyway, thank you also. I'm not wanting to brag yung walang dalang trophy, pero thank you to Best with a special edition of me being included in the third outstanding men and women of the year of 2019. So we had this event last Tuesday, I think, and then alongside all the other achievers of the year. Maraming salamat. And well, Radyo Katipunan is one of the major things that happened to me during this year, and we just have to say thank you for all your support, because ito na, we're looking forward to December 13. Friday the 13th will be lucky for all of us. Why? Because our dream guest actually here, Ben will be with us finally. So yun, nag-confirm na po sila, they'll be on live here sa Radyo Katipunan. But before that, December 11, on my birthday, so it's a tradition in the Arete, we'll have the second Noel. Actually, we had the first one last year. We'll have the second one this year with the ABS-CBN Orchestra, Bukas Palad, Ateneo Chamber Singers, Hangad, Dula Ang Sibol, and a lot of other performers with Gabe Mercado and Missy Maramara as hosts. And we're inviting more people to come. Na last year, kung nasa Hyundai auditorium nangyari yung event, this year we'll be having the whole event at the amphitheater. So sana nandun po kayo December 11 at 7 o'clock. It's for free. And then parang sana we'll launch the album of Arman Ferrer there. And sana we can have have a segment na fundraising para sa aming kaibigan dito sa Jesuit Music Ministry, the director of the JMM na si Lester Mendiola. Lester, hindi bagay sa yung mag-post ng ganong mga post with visuals sa Facebook, but we're praying for you. Parang we see you as one active person na tawa ng tawa kasama namin every Friday at umaakyat dito para pumangas ng cheese roll. Pero yun, namimiss ka namin dito. You better be active again. So, anyway, on to our talk with the media personalities. Eto na. We'll have someone from ABS-CBN na sabi kong gano'n, ako parang nagulat ako actually na Atenista siya, pero kasi mukha siyang taga-UP. Pero yun na nga, he's so progressive, and I think the whole family is really a family of broadcasters. So if you see him, parang siya yung active person na kaibigan din naman niya yung mga kaibigan namin. So you see him daily sa Umagang Kay Ganda, and well, siya yung nag-take over din sa Red Alert na namin-miss natin sa sa ere, pero nandiyan sa radyo pa naman. But he's one person who's, well, I think dedicated dedicated his life into doing more probing research and good documentaries. At meron siya ngayon yung bagong No Filter na feature. And I think now, sabi ko nga makikisingit lang tayo ng konti kasi he's in the middle of doing his next documentary for ABS-CBN. I don't know if he's on the line now. Wala pa. Nako, sabi ko, ito sobrang nagpapayat. Yun, so sobrang nagpapayat at titingnan natin kung nakakatakbo siya at pwede siyang humangos para sagutin yung call natin. Hello? Hello? Wala pa eh. Actually, we're talking about Jeff Canoy, who I suppose was a really good Atenean. I see him in events in Ateneo na nakapost ng mga students na he would give talks and trainings sa mga tao dito. And that's one good way of like paying back and like giving them training. Is he picking up? Hindi. Jeff, sumagot ka kasi kung hindi, mauuna yung taga-GMA. So Jeff Canoy is not picking up. Hello? Hello, Jeff. Nako po. So siguro nandun pa siya sa training niya, sa coverage niya. Okay, since wala pa si Jeff, okay, we'll try to talk to Mav Gonzalez of GMA and tingnan natin kung ano ang pinagkakaabalahan ni Mav dahil siya naman din on the other side. So we're trying to be fair and like give them both the view from the different media establishments ng nangyayari ngayon sa SEA Games. And also, in the end, we talk about that Ateneo touch, that Ateneo spirit, that Ateneo edge in whatever we do, lalo na in media. Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hello, Mav. Hello.
Hi.
Yay, nauna ka. Natapos na si Bill Velasco. So ikaw yung susunod kasi si Jeff nandun pa raw sa coverage na. Hello, Mav.
Hi, yes.
How are you? How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you. I never knew. Actually, someone tipped me lang that you graduated from here. What batch did you come from?
Secret.
Sige na, sabihin.
Communication 2011.
2011. Oh, so bagets pa naman si Mav Gonzalez. So Mav, nung sumabak ka sa media, you wanted to really get into the networks, or most of the Ateneans would like weigh things and then see kung gusto nilang mag-journalism, and usually yan yung last resort, ha?
Actually, alam mo, parang nandun ako sa second option.
Aha.
Ako yung parang after graduation, hindi ko alam kung saan ako pupunta. So, parang isang dosenang kumpanya yata yung in-applyan ko.
Ah, talaga?
Tapos iba-iba siya. May government, merong corporate, and then merong networks, may magazines pa nga may newspapers. But then, would you know Miko Halili? Atenista rin to.
Yes, si Miko.
Miko Halili, yes. Si sportscaster na Miko Halili.
Yes.
He was one of
But he
my
was in
mentors when I
CNN
was in
before.
college. That one.
Yeah, naabutan ko si Miko nung nasa ANC. Nag-ANC muna siya.
Okay.
And then he went to CNN.
Nabutan ko siya sa 5.
Nasa Channel 5.
Oo.
Okay,
yun.
nagkabulan tayong lahat.
Oo,
So
diba?
nag-Channel 5 ka muna,
Parang
Mav?
ng networks. Yes, I was a courtside reporter for almost a year. Before graduation, sabi niya, kailangan na namin ng courtside reporters for TV5. Would you want to audition? Kakatapos lang namin ng finals noon, and there's kind of a lull before graduation. So sabi ko, sige, pwede naman. And then, so that was my first job.
Oh.
I was a courtside reporter for TV5.
But did you ever see yourself doing that as a career?
Actually, no. That's funny. No. Ang gusto ko talaga gawin lang, puro sports. And then it just so happened na one time I was covering kitty football dyan din sa Ateneo, sa Ateneo Grade School ground.
That's cute.
Tapos, yeah, I was writing for GMA News Online, contributor lang on the side. Tapos merong isang parent doon, sabi niya sa akin, interesado ka ba maging TV reporter? Sports kasi hinahanap namin for GMA. It turns out he's the executive producer of 24 Oras.
Okay.
Yung anak niya, nagpo-football sa Ateneo.
Okay.
So sabi niya, gusto mo ba mag-audition? Tapos sabi ko, okay lang naman po. And then, lo and behold, after a month, nasa GMA na ako. Wala din ako courtside reporter, news reporter na ako. Yes.
Sayang lang late ka ng pinanganak kasi ang dami sanang journey na pwedeng tahakin. Pero siguro nandun ka talaga nakadesinang pumunta. No? But did you play any sport, Mav?
Yes. When I was growing up, my parents, kami yung mga kids na palaging nasa summer clinic. Kasi kami ng kapatid ko. So parang
galing.
iba-ibang sports.
So
Pero
you were
yung
really like...
talagang nilaro ko, swimming.
So papunta ka talaga doon. And well, sabi nga ni Atom, you're one. So siya yung tinanong ko about you eh. Nung di ba one of the first few interviews na dapat yon with Atom, sabi niya magaling yan. So well, may seal of approval. Na tipong yun.
Thanks, Atom.
Pero yun nga parang yun, I never knew that you'd really dabble into, di ba pagpunta mo sa media, hindi lang naman pwedeng specialized sports lang, di ba? Parang gano'n, ang dami. Lahat pupuntahan mo. Pero ngayon, nahahalo yung sports sa maraming ibang issues, pati politika. So you're in the thick of the SEA Games preparations.
Yes. Actually, you know what's funny? I just got assigned to the Senate seat.
Oh.
And then biglang sumabay si SEA Games, tapos ang dami ng kontrobersya. So parang I'm right between the two.
Parang pinag-isa yung Senate at saka yung sports, di ba? Parang ganun yung nangyari.
Actually, oo. Pero ngayon nga, sabi ko kasi technically, I'm really a sports reporter for GMA News. Sabi ko, pwede po bang mag-focus muna ako sa sports ngayon?
Sa SEA Games, yes.
Kasi I really want to focus on the athletes. Kasi parang I feel na masyado ng maraming issue, masyado ng maraming nakisali.
But in the end, ang dapat nating protektahan yung mga atleta natin, di ba?
Yes, that's true. Parang ang dapat hinahabol natin yung medal tally natin na perform well, yung athletes natin perform well sa SEA Games.
Dahil dyan tutulungan kita. Dahil dyan talaga dapat talaga. You see, parang now, si Heidelin is here already but sinabi ko talaga no interviews first because you have to finish your game. Di ba? Parang yung iba kasi talkies at guesting sa TV. Actually, that's the reason also why, well, we made her like train abroad too kasi, di ba, ang daming rounds of all media establishments and promo na kung minsan nakakawala ng focus talaga dun sa laro nila.
At saka we understand din kasi na particularly para sa mga athletes, masyadong mabigat na yung training nila. Madalas yan morning and afternoon or morning and evening. Tapos kung kukulitin mo pa ng kukulitin for interviews, parang nakakaawa naman, wala nang pahinga yung atleta. Kaya personally, kapag kami free time, sige pwede mag-interview, pero usually after the games talaga. Kasi sabi ko, para yun na, na tapos na siya sa iniisip niyang laro at saka mas maganda rin yung interview mo kasi may resulta na.
Ma'am, that sets you apart from the others. Yun iba kasi will really go for the scoop, no, for the news. Now, I mean, well, sabi nga ni Bel Velasco, ang pagkakaiba kasi excellence, you can talk about excellence with other schools, with other reporters, no. What sets natin niyan apart from the others in terms of like kunyari coverage? Kung kunyari hindi man yung school pero yung orientation man lang, meron bang konting kunyari ang sinasabi kasi, no, grabe yung konsensya natin, yung isipin kung ano yung mas makatao, hindi. Do you have that?
Oo. Actually, yun yung sasabihin ko, parang mas empathetic yung mga Atenista. Or siguro ganun lang talaga yung upbringing natin kasi even yung may kasama akong isa pang Atenean na reporter, si Victoria Tulad. She's one batch higher sa akin.
Okay.
Oo, Atenista rin yan si Victoria.
Okay.
Kaming dalawa, yung mga tipong kapag may tumanggi, alam mo yun na parang itry mo pa one more time. But if tumanggi, huwag mo nang kulitin.
That's
kasi
true.
ang tao, she or he has the right to decline if ayaw niya magpa-interview or ayaw niya ipa-feature yung storya niya. And even if we want to get scoops, syempre mas gusto mo pa rin na respetuhin kung ano man yung desisyon ng tao. I think that's what sets us apart. And aside from that, ang maganda rin sa mga Atenista, nagtutulungan sa field. Kasi marami rin Atenista sa ibang network na kapag nalaman niya, oy, Atenista ka rin, nagtutulungan sa contacts. Hindi kami nag-i-scoopan sa field.
But did you get the feeling before that your being Ateneans can be taken against you? Yung tipong, ay, social to, ayaw ng ganitong mga assignments.
Well, nung nag-umpisa ako sa GMA, I think lahat naman siguro ng Atenista sa amin, ganito yung nangyari. Alam mo yung pagpasok mo, oy, Atenista ka, so you make tusok-tusok the fishball. Ganun yung loko nila sa amin.
So ano yung fishball sa Ateneo nandun sa maliit na tray? Andan parang nasa paper plate, di ba?
Oo. At saka yung tawag nila sa school natin, Ateneo.
Oo nga eh. So may ganung, may preconceived notion na ganun. But actually, the thing that makes us different is that, kasi kailangan nating patunayan, we can go bilingual because of our Philo and Theo orals na dapat magaling sa Filipino at Ingles and mag-switch ng codes. But more than that, yun talaga yung makatao, yung grabe, yung before you touch a subject matter, yun talaga konsensya eh. It's really the context, aalamin mo yung konteksto at yun siguro yun yung pinagkaiba. So the bigger picture, it's actually that, looking at the bigger picture. Anong magagawa nitong storyang ito dun sa mas malaking mas malaking sistema. So now with the SEA Games, kapatid, parang what hurdles do we have to go through, or what challenges do we still have to go through as a nation, as the facilitating host, parang ganun, dito sa nangyayari?
I think kasi tayo as citizens, not part of the organizing committee, we can't really help na dun sa mga tipong infrastructure, dun sa the way na tinatrato yung mga bansang pumupunta.
But ma'am,
so I think
nakita ko yung mga reports mo, you've been kind of critical too, but within context. Kasi yung mga ni-report mo were really reports from the field, di ba?
Yes, oo. Kasi lumalabas talaga ako. I think that's also very important.
Yes.
Na kung magre-report ka, check mo muna for yourself.
That's true.
Diba, mamamaya makuryente ka dahil meron lang nag-viral. I think it happened to another news outfit na nakita nag-viral tapos na-i-report. Pero hindi kasi na-check on the ground. Kaya
that's
very
true.
important din yun na kung may pakita ka man,
no?
whether negative or positive, you check it for yourself.
Or may sources. Ma-attribute mo kung sino nagsabi noon, no?
Oo, hindi pwedeng puro anonymous tip kasi yan yung karaniwang dahilan kung bakit ka nakukuryente.
At nalalaman yan eh. Kasi parang alam mo kung sinong wala dun sa field, wala sa ground. Kasi parang pag tinanong na, kasi kayo dun, my favorite newscast story is really State of the Nation. Kasi parang araw-araw may graded recitation kayo dun.
Oo.
Tapos, yun talaga, parang you have to be on your toes to answer Jessica's questions, no? So parang ako doon natitest whether or not may grasp ka doon sa nangyayari sa field.
Alam mo,
yes.
Pagka nagre-report kaming mga GMA reporters for State of the Nation, nagre-review kami. Before the newscast, makikita mo yan ng mga nagre-review, merong mga binabasa ng mga papel. Tapos pagka nakita mo ng ganun yung ginagawa ng reporter, may sona ka, no? Kasi merong kang graded recitation. Kasi talagang ayaw mo rin mapahiya na alam mo yun na hindi mo alam yung sasabihin mo on air, and also because Miss Jessica is one of the most respected journalists in the country.
That's
not
true.
In Asia in general. Kaya
that's true.
Gusto mo rin na at par ka dun sa galing nung tao, kumbaga.
Hindi, ako yung natitest ko yan kasi aside from yung mga what, why, where, when, and how, yung mga ganon, meron kang additional information, hindi lang ini-echo yung kasi tama ka Jessica, ko ayaw na ayaw siguro yung parang ina-affirm lang, di ba? Ini-echo. But you have to have additional information na hindi nag-cover ng 24 oras or ng primetime news. So it has to be a notch higher. So, and you cover a lot of whys. And now, I have to ask you, so why have we come to this, yung dito sa SEA Games? Bakit parang naghumihingi ng ceasefire? Will there be ceasefire really sa mga journalists when it comes to reporting what's on ground?
I think it's not really the way I understand it, the ceasefire is coming from yung mga
fake news, I guess, no?
Nagbabatuhan talaga ng mga mali-maling impormasyon.
Na maling impormasyon, tama yun. Oo.
Kasi for me, I saw this also from the tweet of Paterno as Makeli, si Patty, yung isa nating kasama from Rappler.
Yes.
Sabi niya na, iba yung nagkamali ka sa ibinalita dahil you got wrong news.
That's true.
You got wrong information, iba yung fake news. Kasi
true.
fake news is when you peddle intrigue, yung talagang sinasadya mo na i-misdirect yung mga nagbabasa sa'yo o nanonood sa'yo.
That's true.
And I think for us, it's very important also that the real journalists, the legitimate journalists, continue doing their job na
That's
i-report
true.
mo kung ano yung nakikita mo sa ground, whether it's good or bad, regardless of kung mapabash ka.
That's
So, sabi
true.
nga ng mga reporters ngayon sa GMA ang batayan na ngayon kung legitimate journalist ka ay kung nabash ka na online. So I think legitimate journalist na ako so far.
No, at least, di ba?
Kasi,
Yung parang
oo.
it drew reactions from people because you were saying the truth. Yun eh.
Oo, at saka alam mo, yung athletes din, marami rin ako na-interview recently na maski sila nagsasabi na baka pwedeng mag-focus muna tayo sa games kasi nagsimula na eh.
Yeah.
There has been a coach, si Coach Ray of water polo, sabi niya sa akin, actually hindi siya naniningin ngayon ng Facebook niya. Kasi sabi niya, ayaw niyang maapektuhan ng mga kung anumang controversies yung pinag-uusapan, yung performance ng team niya in the SEA Games. So,
That's very good.
I know that the athletes and the coaches are really trying their best na wag maapektuhan. Pero kasi pag nakikita mo na ganyan, na imbis na suportahan ka, manood sa'yo at mag-extend ng support sa'yo yung mga kababayan mo. Imbis na ganun, nag-aaway-aaway online.
Yes.
Medyo nakaka-dishearten for them.
That's true.
Kaya ang sabi nga nila, pwede bang wag nga muna tayo mag-away-away, especially online.
Totoo.
Pwede ba na suportahan na lang muna natin yung mga athletes na lumalaban na at lalaban pa after the opening ceremonies tomorrow.
Ay nako, tutulungan kita dyan. So I'll see you on Monday at the Rizal Memorial Stadium for the weightlifting event. Doon mangyayari kasi
Yes.
ng afternoon, no? So it's really the support for the athletes more than the politics that we want to put forward. So yun, Mav, nas na lang. Does it pay well? Does media pay well if the listeners or the mga Ateneans would see you as inspiration? Nakakabuhay ba naman yan ng isang Mav Gonzalez o ng isang pamilya pagkatapos?
Gusto ba natin ng totoong sagot?
Oo naman. Sabi natin, the truth.
Oo nga eh. Hindi. Alam mo, pag nag-umpisa ka sa media, I think it goes for any media outfit. Maliit yung sweldo.
That's true. You don't do it for the money, di ba?
Nagulat din ako eh. Kasi pagka-graduate ko, sabi ko, ganito lang pala yung sweldo dito. Parang I could have gotten at least times 5
That's
sa labas.
true. That's
Ganun
true.
yung pakiramdam niya. Pero ang sinasabi nga ng mga tao, you do it because you want to do it. Because you have a passion for it. Hindi dahil feeling mo sisikat ka at hindi dahil feeling mo yayaman ka dito. Although for some people, darating yan.
Yeah, it
Halimbawa
has to
nila,
be
kung
compensated
iba sila-
also eh. Totoo naman
Oo.
yun.
Darating din naman yung sweldo after several years. Pero ito kasi yung trabaho na like what we say in GMA, serbisyong totoo talaga siya eh. You're really a public servant when you're a journalist.
That's true. Walang holiday, walang nothing, di ba? So,
Oo, walang love life. Just
yan. Halika dito minsan, bilis. Sayang darating si Quintin Pastrana, schoolmate ni Annette Gozon dito. Estudyante ko siya.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Oo.
gusto ko i-pedal sa mga tao. Well, hindi ko alam kung may love life siyang bago. Pero halika dito, kayo ni Jeff Canoy, pero hindi ka yata pwede. Ba't basta minsan, one Friday, you said, you know what, both of
yes,
you,
yes.
well, parang isipin ng mga tao na may, yun nga, the credibility and yung paghihirap, the hard work that you put in should also be compensated. May not be in terms of money, but eventually it should. But I guess kung saan ka magaling at saan yung serbisyo mo sa mga tao, doon ka dapat kikilalanin at yun parang pasasalamatan ng mga tao. Pero, well, Mav, I think you have a good future in media.
thank you.
Well, mahirap lang ngayon kasi di ba parang dyan ang daming, well, sabi nga, nandyan pa rin yung mga oldies, di ba? Kaya may respeto tayo sa mga yan. Pero there's nothing like being trained by them, like people like Jessica and, well,
That's
the most parang respected of mga mentors. So ako naman, I think yung mga nagturo sa'yo, yung pinakamahuhusay at pinakamahihirap yun, di ba? Parang mahirapan muna tayo tapos eventually we'll reap the fruits of our labor. Maraming salamat, Mav.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you one Friday here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
And I'll see you on Monday. Textan tayo.
All right. Thank
So maraming
you.
salamat. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Salamat.
Bye.
That's Mav Gonzalez from GMA. Ang ganda-ganda at ang galing-galing na reporter ng GMA. Well, I think she's one of the reporters on the rise, and tignan niyo ho siya sa mga reports niya dun sa 24 Oras at saka sa State of the Nation. Napakahusay. So, anyway, yun. We'll try talking now. Ay, pwede na siya. Si Jeff Canoy is available already. So, nako, isa sa mga binabandera din naman ng ABS-CBN. See, we're fair. No, we finished Philippine Star. I'm from the Inquirer. And yun, si Mav Gonzalez from GMA. And now, well, someone who's really deep into doing his documentaries. He's Jeff Canoy. Jeff's here. Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hello, hi Jeff, how are you? Nauna na si Mav, sorry. Pero
Hi, sorry.
Mav Gonzalez, Mav daw is 20, no? Ano ba yun? 2011. Basta, mas nauna ba si Mav sa'yo or nauna ka?
Parang ako yung nauna.
Ano? Ayan na, nagkakabukuhan na. But you're a communications major also, Jeff?
Yes, but I started as a philosophy major and then
Pareho tayo. Ba't ka umalis?
Communication.
Tama ka.
Wala
I can
lang.
identify, you know why? Parang I had to anchor my philosophy into something more concrete. I graduated as a philo major and went into MA Masters in Communications.
For me, parang mas, wala kasi nga yung journalism was something I
Before,
sort of just
no? Yeah.
stumbled into in Ateneo actually when
That's
I joined the
true.
Gaidon. So,
Okay.
Yun.
But I was telling the people that you're in a family of journalists, really, no? Or media personalities.
well, the Canoy from Cagayan de Oro, I would...
No, because I know your dad's part of KBP.
No, he's not my dad.
He's not that. Oh, sorry.
He's not my-
Mali, fake news. Sini pala. So, politician kayo?
Hindi.
Hindi naman.
Yung the rest of them, I think from our, I guess my lolos were telling me that we're somehow related. Pero
Okay.
parang
So,
very
may mga
distant
broadcasters sa
relatives na.
inyo, di ba?
Wala, I'm the first of my kind.
Akala ko yun yung advantage mo.
Wala.
So ang ganda namang first of your kind. Anyway. So Jeff, here now. Parang ang sinabi ni Mav, wala raw tama nga rin, no? Walang ganong training kaya na kinuha siya ni Miko Halili, naging courtside reporter, and eventually
Yes.
nagpa-audition nung merong mga sports clinic dito para sa GMA sa sports. Ikaw naman, what was your path?
So yun nga, I started out as a philosophy major in Ateneo. But then I joined the Gaidon, not
Okay.
for journalism, but I wanted to be a layout artist.
Okay.
So, pero yun, there were days na may mga times na there was a coverage inside Ateneo and there wasn't any reporter available to cover, so they tapped me
Ikaw
and
na
say, you
yun.
wanna do it? Galon. So, yun, biglang nagustuhan ko, kaya nagtapos ako. And
Okay.
then, right around internship period, I applied sa ABS-CBN. Tapos parang,
okay.
gano'n na, after my internship ended, parang sabi ng ABS, do you want to work for us as a production assistant, PA?
So nag-start ka talaga doon?
So college, so working student ako noon, parang third, fourth year.
That's good.
School sa umaga, trabaho sa hapon at gabi.
Okay, and then you were in the desk or you were assigned to report yung graveyard shift?
I started, pero before pa ako mag-graveyard shift, nag-PA muna ako, researcher, segment producer.
Ang bait mo, Jeff Canoy.
Before I became a reporter. Nung
Sabi ni Mav
2007.
Derecho, nagulat daw siya kasi she could have earned 5 times more kung nasa ibang industry siya. Nagulat siya na ganito lang talagang yung sweldo ng isang reporter. Did you have that?
Ako, nag-start ako nung PA, Diyos ko, pag inisip mo yung sweldo ko.
Allowance lang talaga.
Oo, pang-load
That's
lang
true.
talaga.
Talaga. But you were a working student, so okay rin lang yun.
Okay lang naman din. Muna. Pero even yun, when I became a reporter, hindi rin siya, parang, nauna yata ako mag-reporter kay Mav, so malamang mas mababa pa yung nakuha ko.
Wow. So, when did you decide on making that as a career?
Actually, until now, it's still a constant.
Oh,
struggle. You
sige.
always ask yourself,
Kailangan pumunta ka
is this-
dito for more,
Oo nga,
for
is this the right-
reflection.
Oo. But you always ask yourself, is this the right path? And I think that's a good thing. Is yun nga, you keep. If I'm still questioning it today, it means I still choose to commit
That's
to
true.
this profession.
Ganda, no?
Ayun, di
That's
ba?
what
Parang
makes us
laging
different.
yes.
Actually, yung action, reflection. Kasi when you're in the
Oo.
field, you forget the reflection part eh.
Yes,
Diba? Yun yung
napaka-philosophical ng usapan.
Yun yung pagkakaiba, pero yun, what sets the Ateneans apart pag nasa field? Kunyari, when you're reporting.
I think a lot of well, in terms of yung pag ako kasi personally parang I feel na when I look at situations, parang a lot of reporters approach it in a sense that they want to widen their knowledge about a certain topic or a certain coverage. But I think our approach has always been parang how do I deepen my knowledge, not so much widen it. So you try to emphasize and you try to
That's true.
find a face to the story.
Yan yung sinabi ni Mav din. Talaga, it's really more the conscience, the empathy, di ba? And
Yeah,
bringing it back to the question, sino ba ang mas nakikinabang? And
There's a
why
lot
and
of
for
ano
whom,
din.
di ba? Yun yung
A lot of questioning din na yun nga dahil nga philosophy background ako, para maraming mga struggles pa natin na parang is this how you approach a story? Is this
That's
the
true.
more ethical way to do it?
That's
so
true.
maraming aspect, may maraming internal struggle and
Yung feel of
overthinking as an
ethics, no?
Ateneo.
At sasabihin ng mga tao, oh, grabe ng konsensya natin. Pero yun yung talagang nagahari eh. In the end, it's what sets us apart. It's the conscience na in the end, makukonsensya or, well, makaka-benefit ba to ng mas maraming tao? So, ang palaging tinatanong, bakit at para kanino? At pag nasagot mo ng maayos yun, dapat hindi para sa'yo. Dapat hindi para sa kukonting mga tao.
Wala, it's never about you. It's always about the story.
That's nice. Jeff, now, let me ask you kasi si Mav launched into that and Bill Velasco talked about it. Sa SEA Games na na issue ngayon, Jeff, ceasefire daw. Anong position ng mga journalists dyan?
I think journalists will just have to do what they always do. Is,
That's true.
Diba, perform the watchdog function, make people accountable, and at the same time highlight inspiring stories, art stories, human interest stories. So, yun nga, I think at this day and
Tama ka
age, a lot
dyan.
of people forget that there's a very big line between PR and journalism.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be a journalist. So if there's something good, then you report on something good. If there's something bad, you report on that bad thing.
At ang maganda doon, you verify your reports and those are
Yes.
coming from the field, not
And
from
there's
anywhere else, di ba?
And there's accountability because yun nga,
Yes.
parang journalists are also humans. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. So if yun yung difference is parang there's always accountability na
Yes.
we make sure na what we put out is verified, is
That's true. That's true. So yun palagi, no, parang it's verified and parang and in the end, titingnan mo yung bigger quality, you bring them to a bigger context, no? Na yun yata yung facility ng mga yun. Sabi nga ni Mav, yung bilingual study natin, it works for us too, no? Tapos yung pagpapalaki nung sphere of influence, hindi lang isang story, kundi mas malaki yung parang pangbansa. So now, ano pa yung hurdle natin bilang bansa sa pag-facilitate at pag-host itong SEA Games?
Well, obviously, everyone wants the SEA Games to be successful because it is nga a reflection of our country, of our
Yes.
communities, and especially the thing is, it always has to be about the athletes.
That's true. Gusto ko, pareho kayo ng sagot. Pareho
Diba?
kayo ng sagot lahat. No? It's not about any politico, it's not about any edifice, but it's about
Yes.
our athletes.
So you want the experience to be the best for the athletes as well. So when
That's true.
when journalists highlight parang for example situations where feeling namin dehado sila, di ba? Parang then
That's
you make
true.
people accountable to make sure that they, di ba, that
Yeah.
yung pinaghirapan nila, makikita nila na maayos yung naging programa. So, but in terms of hurdles, I think the biggest hurdle right now is the typhoon that's approaching the
Okay.
Philippines. So sana nga hindi siya masyadong maka-apekto sa games.
Maka-apekto,
Kasi nga
no?
everyone naman, at the end of the day, really want the SEA Games to be successful.
Ano pa yung learning so far dun sa mga unang araw ng SEA Games for now? Yung tipong, oo nga, no, parang in the end, it should be highlighting the athletes. It's the bayanihan spirit actually that's at work now. And then, really hiring the most efficient people for the job. It's really, di ba? Parang, even journalists, di ba? Parang ako yung pag-highlight ninyo ng mga taong dapat i-highlight. It's really not about politics or about, yun nga, the budget or what. Parang in the end, it's how you discharge your function. So, hindi ba kayo naiipit ngayon?
Well, naiipit. Pero hindi naman nasa SEA Games naman to. It's been going on for a very long time. But yun nga, at the end of the day, parang our focus really is on the story.
Yes.
Kasi nga parang...
I have to compliment you. I saw your last documentary. It's about that, no? The athlete pa din. You're doing a documentary now, you said? Or is it still about the athletes?
Yes. No, we're actually working on a documentary that's it's a very very different topic. It's about 100 years of Philippine cinema.
Okay.
Pero yun, it's also
good.
very
That's good.
fun and exciting.
And they're kasabay actually. They're having they're observing that also. Yung Film Academy Awards with Vivian Velas now at the Film Academy of the Philippines head na kasabay on tomorrow din, di ba? Are you going there? Sa BBC Arts Center. Tapos in the Metro Manila Film Fest, we're celebrating that too because the Metro Manila Film Fest being the parang the longest running film fest here in the Philippines. We're observing the 100th year of cinema too.
Daming celebration. Yung documentary is focusing on film restoration since marami tayong
Sinalio.
marami tayong movies from the 40s and 50s na parang wala na. Yun yung
you old soul you. Pero kailangan yan kasi parang lahat niyan cultural repository or historical artifacts. So kailangan din yan. So tamang ka nga, no, after the SEA Games, it should be this kasi 1 year nating observe yan. And the Ateneo contribution to that is making a film soon. Actually, alam mo na ba yon? That we will be producing a film soon, actually.
Talaga?
Are we allowed to say it? Pwede naman siguro. We're doing a film about the priests. Gumburza actually. For next year. So, yun. Yun naman
I also visited Ateneo a few weeks ago. I met with yung Mir Lab. It's parang org with communication majors as well.
Yun nga, I actually saw your picture na nagbibigay ka rin ng training dito. So, that's
they're planning to do a documentary. So, parang exciting times na kasi nung time ko sa Ateneo, wala namang group na solely devoted to documentaries. Yun.
Uy, tapat panoorin na at i-promote din natin yung Aswang. Actually, kaibigan ko yung stepdaughter ni Jing Reyes, si Army Kakanin din, yung isa ng in charge doon. It won awards recently and it's really riveting. So, yun. And you have to go to, I plugged it kanina sa Arete when they launched this whole exhibit na kikilabutan ka rin talaga. There's a lot of things to document and thank you, Jeff, for doing that for us. And then one Friday, si Mav daw mag-a-adjust kung kailan ka free. Pero si Mav, ang kasi Friday daw day off niya.
Sige.
So yun, ikaw magsasabi, tapos si Mav sinabi niya ang latent function niya kasi mahirap daw magka-love life ang reporter dahil sa schedule. So shout out din siya. So dito ka na rin magsabi na dapat magka-love life ka.
Diba? Pag binato mo sa universe, baka iba to pabalik sa'yo.
Sige. So we'll adjust to your time. So you'll just tell us kung kailan ka available.
Yes, I will. I'd love to visit Ateneo again.
We saw you kaninang umaga, you were swamped with all these girls na habang nagsi-SEA Games, meron namang mga pageant. So ang dami talagang nagaganap. Pero sabi mo nga, the biggest hurdle during the next week is the bagyo. Tama nga naman. We never saw that coming, but yes, it's one of the things you have to be prepared about. What else? Actually, natabunan na yung yung sa Vice President, yung sa drug problem, the drug problem. So what else do you think we have to contend with? The major news na darating in the next few days. It's really just the SEA Games, no?
It's really the SEA Games and pero yun nga, nga, parang I think it's gonna be a treasure trove of stories in terms of even yung highlighting. We have a lot of athletes
Yes.
who, yun nga, parang, for example, I did a documentary recently about fencing, and you would think fencing is about, it's a sport of kings before, so parang may
True.
parang misconception it's a sport for the wealthy,
Yeah.
na mahal yung mga gamit, pero yung story namin was actually about
Ordinary people, di ba?
or the fencing community really
Yes.
introducing the sport in the barangay level through outreach programs, and they were able to discover many great athletes from those barangay clinics. So I think we're gonna be hearing a lot more stories about yung mga inspiring athlete stories in the
Yes.
next few days. And yun nga, again, the star of the SEA Games, they have to be the athletes.
That's
So,
true. In the end, it's yun, sila talaga yon. At
So,
pero, hindi ka namin pakakawalan. Well, nakaka-proud kayo kasi you're really good storytellers and you have to kailangan tuloy-tuloy yung ganyang pagbibigay mo sa mga tao ng ganyang mga magagandang storya. Ikaw, Jeff, ang pinakamagandang storya sa'yo siguro ay kung paano ka pumayat.
Sport story din yan, badminton.
Sport story din yan. So, guys, sasabihin mo sa amin pagkasama mo na si Mav Gonzalez dito. Sandali lang, si Shara ay, how many years you are senior?
Si Shara I was a freshman when Shara was a senior. So 3 years.
Okay.
Mas matanda siya sa amin ni
Ang sama namang makatanda nun. Pero she's my classmate in the Ricky Lee class. So, may ganun naman na ano. But otherwise, we'll have you and Mav one Friday. Depende sa'yo. So, it's your call.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I will be
Go
messaging
back to
you.
your documentary and we'll just support you always.
Sige.
Thank you, Jeff.
for the
See
time.
you soon. Thank you.
po.
Maraming salamat. So that was Jeff Canoy of ABS-CBN. And yes, in the end, tama nga, Bill Velasco, Mav Gonzalez, and Jeff Canoy said, ang star dapat ng SEA Games, hindi yung edifice, hindi yung kaldero, hindi yung mga pinatayong mga facilities, kundi ang mga athletes. So with that, let's pause for some more songs, Christmas songs from the Jesuit Music Ministry. And well, sana makarating ng ating guest ngayon na si Quintin Jose Pastrana. Isa ring athlete, no? But he's more of a renaissance man because he's a businessman, entrepreneur, actually an author, someone who restores or puts up libraries in mga communities, and also, well, sabi ko nga, something that really melts everyone's heart. He's really a mama's boy. So si Quintin Pastrana will be here anytime soon, but here are songs from the Jesuit Music Ministry.
Taon na lang pareho din ang iyong pinplano. Ngayon mo na kailangan.
Hindi ba't may Maria at Joseng nananahan sa bawat taong nais ay manilbihan, ang pagsang-ayon nila ay tularan, muli ay dinggin kanyang kalooban.
Di ba tayo ang tupa at pastol na naglalayag patungo sa sanggol? Payak man ay tigib naman ang pag-ibig, hangad ay umawit ng kanyang
Tanaw ang tanglaw patungo sa kanya, sa Bethlehem ay tunghayan ang saya, ang ating Mesiyas doon sa sabsaban ng tagapagligtas. saya ang ating Mesiyas doon sa sarsaban ng tagapagligtas ng sanlibutan. Halina, halina, maganap sa kapanganakan. Halina, magdiwang, si Kristo ay isinilang. Ngayong kapaskuhan, papurihan, awitan ng kapanganakan. Awitan ng kapanganakan.
So many years ago, a child was born, but he wasn't like any child ever known. He lay in a manger, not a crib made of gold, and the royal nursery was a stable of old. Though he didn't have to be poor, a king such as he could afford so much more, and have all the wealth and rule all the earth. He was instead born a carpenter's son. He lay there, some shepherds arrived, and in their simple hearts they knew that he had arrived. Though there were no trumpets, no fanfare to announce, the glorious star told them what it was about. Then suddenly there came a light. The angels came over to pay him his rights. They knew he was king. They knew he had might. He was the one they called the Christ.
So the scriptures wrote of the Christ child, whose birth and flesh the promise of eternal life. In Israel's Bethlehem, a history unfolds. So many years ago, a child was born. He was the universal king whom everyone scorned. But thousands of years after that, they learned to adore the most eminent fact that he was with us, that he did for us.
Prepare the way of the Lord, make straight his paths. All shall see the salvation of God.
Magsama sa saya ng sangguniang ina. Ako'y nagkakatas sa sagsawang payak. Tuwan man ang matagal ng haring anak. Sa sanggol at kinapuso'y huwag isara. At sa bawat isang puso buksan na. Buksan na, Pasko na. Pasko na, tayo'y magkaisa. Magsama sa saya ng sangguniang ina. Pasko na, Pasko na, tayo'y magkaisa. Magsama sa saya ng sangguniang ina. Magsama sa saya ng sangguniang ina.
Sumilang ang araw sa lupa, o kalangitan, nasan siya? Tugon ng bituin sa silangan, sanggol sa Belen sumikat. Ang Diyos isinilang sa lupa, wala siyang masisilungan. At ang bubong ng kanyang duyan, bituin na sa kalangitan.
Katupuneros, don't change that dial because we'll be coming right back. Radyo Katipunan is now online. See our live feed on facebook.com/Radyo Katipunan. Check out our Instagram and our Twitter at Radyo Katipunan and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Radyo Katipunan FM for more exclusive content. We are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at Radyo Katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates. Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Social-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan. Ipinta ang mga salita, tulain ang indak, sumayaw sa himig, awitin ang diwa. Dati akong paraluman. Ang programa ukol sa mga ulat sa komunidad ng sining at kultura. Magtanong, magbungkahi, at makibahagi. Dito lamang sa Dati Akong Paraluman. Tuwing Lunes, alas 3 ng hapon. Dati Akong Paraluman. Sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Follow at Radyo Katipunan in our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Atin yan! Catch the latest news about the latest happenings in and around the Ateneo. Atin yan! Be in the know and get to know persons and personages in the Ateneo. Atin yan! Atin yan! Ateneo yan! Atin yan! Fly high! Mga kapamilya, kapuso, kapatid, kabarkada, mga katipuneros. It's time to level up with your host, multi-awarded, multimedia guru, Noel Ferrer, here on All Caps. Ateneo, level up. Level up.
Enzo is here. Actually, he's linking everyone there. Sige, gawin mo na. Hindi. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Okay. Yes. The Renaissance man. I call him that because he's preoccupied with a lot of things. Sabi ko, ang daming hats. He's the anchor of ABS-CBN News Channel, a former anchor of Bloomberg Philippines, president of WWPI. What's that?
We Energy Power Pilipinas, yes.
Okay, so W Energy Global. Then founder, I'm proud of you here, founder and managing director of the Library Renewal Partnership.
Yes.
Until now. And later sasabihin niya kung ano yung updates doon. And convener before, and actually, well, yan naman yung mission natin lahat, the movement for good governance. At sana, yun, eventually, I see him as one of our leaders in the country. And worked for, ito na, proud ako, he started with Senator Raul Roco, di ba?
Yes.
And yun, magandang base. Well, my former student, and well, ito, talagang, well, sila ni Mike Alimurang. Mike's on air now sa CNN, kaya hindi niya makasabay. Quintin, Jose Pastrana. Q, actually. How are you?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all our listeners.
Actually, you see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Noel, thank you very much for your coming back
So
and asking me to come back.
after graduation. So
And 27 years since our first class together.
Yes. So paano yun, Ki? Well, parang you're coming back on to the union next week, no? Actually.
Yes.
You're going back.
25th Silver Jubilee. In fact, tomorrow, I think I'll be there at the wreath laying sa, of course, at the foot of Rizal's
Luneta
monument.
yun,
Yes.
Did you go through the recollection?
I did not get to go to a recollection. I went to another recollection, but yes, we're going to the mass also para at least
So,
mas
let's
solemn
go
siya.
through your days in Ateneo. Pero, ito nga, parang people knew you from before. Actually, good words lahat sa'yo. Kasi, well, hindi mo naman bayad yung mga tao, but they really had good words to say. He was a batch below me, sabi ni Annette Gozon of GMA7. In CSA, Colegio San Agustin, he's smart, responsible, and a gentleman. He used to serve mass in San Antonio Parish.
Yes, I was a lecturer and commentator, yes.
So, yun palagi. Prom date niya nung high school si Indy Puyat. Sabi niya,
who was my classmate? At nagkatiri rin siya. Yeah. So, hello, Indy.
well-behaved siya sa CSA nun. Actually, kahit naman sa Ateneo never kang nagkaroon ng ganong news na si Q, si Quintin. Actually, he's so behaved. Actually, hindi ka naman ganon ka-active sa extracurricular activities. Where were you in college? Saan ka
Very low-key naman kasi I think first year naman we were getting to know each other. Everybody was getting to know how to get along with everybody. I was first in management, tapos
Alam ko, naglipat-lipat ka, di ba?
Then I shifted to Pol Sci.
Okay, why? Because?
Well, number one, I didn't feel na I needed to do a business degree at that time kasi I ended up taking an MBA naman a few years after.
Yes.
But it was really more kasi I wanted to get into, at that time, I wanted to get into public service. So political science was a good track.
Bagay sa'yo.
Hindi naman.
You give it to those people who don't want it, actually. Yun naman yung...
Yeah, I thought I was going to law school also. So yun yung
Why
I thought I was
didn't
training. Because I made the calculation, given my limited mental bandwidth, that the 4 years of law school plus the bar, I would rather take 3 master's degrees, which I ended up taking.
Which you did, di ba?
Yeah, so the math worked out really well.
Okay. So, from Colegio San Agustin, nag-Ateneo, then studied global management in Georgetown.
Yes, I took my MBA to Georgetown, which is another Jesuit university, so parang it was an easier way of getting into graduate school.
Why? Because you didn't know what to do professionally, or you just wanted to study? Or kapalit ng law school?
Kapalit na yun ng law school kasi if you're going to, and law school is very intense. I hats off to the ones who finished the program and took the bar and passed.
Then international relations?
Yeah, at Cambridge. And then for me, it was really more kasi international business yun. And a lot of the business that I get into, which is energy, is both, it both needs a lot of government international relations work and at the same time the business. So that was the two.
Ito yung proud ako, literature in Oxford.
Yeah, the MFA in creative writing. Because I wasn't that good at writing. Gusto kong magsulat, pero I was not good at it. I was your first student. Ang dami mong kinorek sa akin dati.
Actually, but the thing here is, actually, it's not in the writing, but it's in here. Na, ang gulo siguro ng isip mo noon.
Yes,
kasi when you have a clear mind, mabilis na.
That's right, and you picked it up nga. Medyo magaling utak ko at that time. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yun nga, you were shifting from management to...
Yeah, I mean, the revelation was when I was in Georgetown taking my grad school, David Lynch, the director, came over and gave a talk, and he was giving a talk on what do you call this, creativity and stress and meditation. Apparently, he was sponsoring a study at the National Institute of Health. So I actually joined in to find out how to relieve my stress, and then they found out that
relieve your stress.
Ano tayo? Kasi it was super high.
Why nga? Were you forced to achieve more?
No naman, but in that case, I realized all the difficulties I had academically, grade school, high school, tapos at even Ateneo,
was... Wala sa itsura.
Magaling na akong pagpanggap.
Pero you never were part of the mga discipline or sa standards committee. You never had failing grades.
I don't know, actually, I had quite low grades in the second year, and part of it I realized was yung masyadong extracurricular. Then the study showed the which is nag-test kasi kami. We had mental tests, and they said I actually had ADD. So I had ADD for the longest time.
Ni Mike.
Kaya magkabig kami, di ba? Kaya best friends kami ni Mike, di ba? Kaya magkasundo
And
kami.
I would understand those people.
So,
yan yung mga matatalinong tao na parang, yun nga, parang yung train of thought. Pero grabe, madali kayong ma-discourage pag hindi,
yes.
things are not
it was,
going
but
your way.
yung consuelo ko dyan is I actually found out later in life.
Tagalog siya. Okay, go.
Thank you, Gus Rodriguez.
Okay, go.
No, so the beauty of finding it out later on, yung consolation ko is that I didn't have to take medication in those years that I used it.
Really?
Because otherwise,
Mike was telling me he was.
Because otherwise, what will happen though, according to the neurologist, it will numb your senses and it will destroy your creativity. So yung ginawa ko is after that NIH study, I enrolled in this transcendental meditation program, which was sponsored by Mr. Lynch himself.
Yes.
So I went through that and it changed my life. The meditation, of course, being in a Jesuit university, my faith got stronger. So between the two, it just improved the way I was thinking. I channeled everything, and all the success I have today is because of that moment where I realized I had to channel what I realized was a
centering,
was a limitation, was a disability, in fact. Pero we overcame that.
Finding your core in Colegio de San Agustin, what was your theme? Ano yung when you were there? It was really more just excelling or just existing?
No, Annette will even tell you that I wasn't one of the best students there. In fact, puro extracurricular lang na ako. And really, it was because I didn't have a focus. It was tennis, athletics, others, barkada, which San Agustin has a lot of also, apart from good academics. So, yung nangyari niyan, it was a journey for me to find myself. And if it wasn't for that summer in grad school nga na discover ko talaga I have a disability, basically.
Bakit
I overcame it.
Not any other school during college?
I don't know. My sister went to Ateneo kasi. And at the same time, the philosophy subject, we all the graduating friends from high school, my friends from San Agustin, Southridge, others, IS.
Most of them
were thinking, what is going to be a good education? And yung sabi nga
nila. But you considered UP, I suppose.
I did. We got to UP naman also, but it was the liberal arts education. It's the liberal arts education, the humanities. Yun yung for me, I thought that was important to me.
Let's talk about that. So this show celebrates who we were, what we love, and what we stand for, and what's next. So your student life in Ateneo, kumusta?
Medyo gulo. Laka ng barkada ko nun eh. And it's funny
pero
because...
Pero ang barkada mo, admi kids, di ba? Mostly. You weren't in Colayco.
No, we were... Actually, I think we took over the
CAF.
I think we took over the Conyo benches from the seniors at that time.
Sila yun.
We didn't make a lot of friends at that time. But,
Pero yun na, I'm surprised. Kasi Conyo, tanggap niya yung pagiging Conyo. But you were part of the central board. I was surprised you were there.
Fourth year. Because after that...
Diba? Business rep or what?
It was the
or you were heading
Socksai rep. So I was in arts rep. So Paul Sai. And then no, but kasi after first year, second year, diba, nagbabago rin yung barkada mo.
That's true.
Yeah,
mas naging seryoso.
Yeah, mulat ka kagad in terms of what
Okay.
Ang kagat mo sa meron, diba? So that changed. As you change, your focus changes also. And so that last year in school was to me very instructive.
So the third and fourth year gave you context.
Yeah, nag-ASIL kami, nag-central board.
That's good.
We tried to make the most out of the offerings of school para to be men and women for others.
And you came at a time when sina Joval, because as moderator for central board, it came at a time when there are a lot of other issues outside the university and you were all part of.
Absolutely.
Mga bagyo, mga ganyan.
Yeah, and the 1990s were a turning point for the country. Economic reforms under the Ramos administration, cronyism also on the other side, developmental issues, the World Trade Organization, lahat yan.
Ang ganda. So
lumitaw,
that
diba?
prompted you to want to study more and then get into government.
Yes, at that time I wanted to, and fortunately when I graduated, and a lot of us were going into the corporate world, I decided because there was an opening kay Senator Rocco, who at that time was not as known as senator, but I said, this is my gap year. Kung mga iba pumunta sa JVP, and at that time I didn't have the grades to even get into JVP, I said, this is my gap year.
Okay.
Yeah, JVP gets the best of the best. I was not.
Well, yeah.
I was on the lower quartile of the school.
No, but what was good was that he was running for president during that time, and you saw him. Well, ganon, di ba? From senator.
That was
to
the best time to work for Senator Rocco because that's
is
just where he made all the pro-women legislation, anti-rape, anti-sexual
That's
harassment
true.
act, Central Bank Act, foreign currency liberalization law, the entry to the World Trade Organization.
He never talked about it, pero yun.
That was a policy time, and that was a critical collaboration with the FVR administration.
And
He was in the opposition party.
Then, and sabi namin parang, oy, medyo unpopular, but like itataya tayo dito. And Sharon Cuneta really, well, with our
Absolutely.
influences, parang, yan, endorse Senator
For Rocco to
for
get the
president,
endorsement
diba?
of Senator Rocco, that was actually very good for his political career. But having said that, I mean, he was very much ahead of his time.
That's
and for
true.
us,
That's
the
true.
staff who still keep in touch with each other,
nga, sabi mo nga.
with Tita Sonia, we there was a experience unlike any other. I think that experience changed us for good.
Learning from that particular experience, ano yung takeaway mo from working with the staff of Senator Rocco?
I mean, you basically are working for a senator who believed in the highest standards of public service and lived it. Nobody can question that about
no?
it. And
the president
he was a mentor to me towards the end of his life.
Really?
When I was going to grad school, I said, "Sir, when I come back, I want to run for office." Ang sabi niya sa akin, "No, do not be a politician, be a technocrat." Study the lives of the technocrats. Like
He knew you,
Paeng
he
Salas.
knew you.
He also knew what my strengths were.
And what the country needed.
And yun yung feeling nga niya na, you're better off that way. And that was the best advice I ever got. So ever since then, lahat
Nandun
ng
ka sa
ginawa
policy
ko
making.
to get into graduate school to sharpen my skills, to get into the infrastructure sector, to help in that area, which is what he specifically said. Go to the energy sector because that is the sector that will help everything else.
So what you're doing now is actually like living what he said.
Yun yung direct result ng advice ni Senator Rocco. Everything he said
galing.
that is good for me was from his advice.
Galing, no? You're shaped really by your mentors. Anyway,
Talaga.
balik tayo sa Ateneo. When were you most happy? When you were here?
I think, there are little pockets of time. Yung sinasabi kang slices of time in
Okay, saan ka
Ateneo.
pinakamasaya? You'll never forget that.
I
remember, sorry. No, nagtutulog na ako dito. Bumabalik ka pa dito, may nililigawan ka pa iba mas bata.
You remember, I don't.
But
I have very selective memory.
May bumabalik to graduate na to. Ay, okay, sige, lower batch. Okay.
I don't remember that, honestly.
Not one of your happiest times. Okay,
No. My happiest time in Ateneo, to be honest, is there was
junior, senior year.
No, and I was
guess,
junior year because
when you knew what you wanted to do.
and I got back my grades. I started improving, and then there was a time that not everybody knows this. I had to skip a semester because our family had a kidnapping threat, so we were sent to the States for at least close to a semester, and I thought I was never going to graduate.
Ano ginawa mo?
Well, we were thinking already of transferring to another Jesuit school at that time, but because there was a kidnapping threat at that time, a very illegitimate.
Overload ka para maka...
Yes, and thanks to the Jesuits, Father Nemi and others, they really helped me get back on track and graduate on time. So the best moment for me was...
At nag-student council pa during his graduating year, no?
Yeah, well, that was talagang bumabawi in that sense. But I think the last part of the semester, when I tried to make up for all the bulakbol in the first 2 years,
Hindi na, mahirap lang yun.
was instructive for me. So embracing a Jesuit education, join the Catechetical Instruction League, being in the Central Board, and then realizing that public service is important at that time. Yun yung, for me, the turning point. The happiest moments.
Teaching was never an option for you.
Or
you will
not
eventually
a
do it.
teacher, but yung akin is the same thing as Mike and I are doing. Is that we think
whatever you're doing now, you're teaching.
media is a classroom.
That's
so in this case, On the Money, which is the show I do, is on personal finance, investments, and entrepreneurship. So those things, every weekend, I get to have a classroom that involves, YouTube, the Filipino channel around the world, and a dedicated bunch of viewers. It's actually the most awarded business show in TV. So I'm happy to be there with Salve, my co-host.
I like it actually when you may mga proposals.
Yes.
And then for new projects, para kang nag-management class, di ba?
Exactly. So this is real life entrepreneurship, and we're applying.
Nag-invest ka na doon?
We have invested in some.
Pero maganda to help them, di ba?
Absolutely. Yung sa akin naman talaga is this is the real life classroom where people are investing their own money,
That's true.
giving
That's
up
true.
their careers to put up their businesses. And
Galing.
the nice thing about that show is may mga panel members na who are real life entrepreneurs
From the
who will give practical
industry,
advice. So
that's true.
between the business school professors that we have, sometimes we have,
Yes.
like for example, Dean Dumlao came over in the show, plus real life entrepreneurs, the startups get the best advice, and I learned from
So
that
plug
also.
it now. So ba't matutuwa si Silet?
Yeah, so yes, and Nadia.
So, the money.
So on the money is what is the country's leading finance and
That's
investment
true.
show. We
Every
have
Saturday.
incorporated a show called Entreplab into that for entrepreneurs. It's Saturday 4 to 5 p.m.
Yes.
and replays within the week at ANC.
That's very good. Anyway, next. So, happiest with third and fourth year when you knew what you wanted to do already.
Yes.
Saddest part in your college life?
I guess the saddest part was the end of second year where talagang I didn't know what I was going to do.
And you had to like experience that. That was part of the process, no?
You know, I was on academic probation on second year.
Okay.
Because talagang
Pero hindi ka nakaabot dun sa dun sa standards committee. So parang hindi yan appeal.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
At least
so
I
parang
remember.
you were given a chance.
I was given a chance. And that was awa ng Diyos talaga. Because I could have
okay.
easily gotten kicked out.
Pero alam mo kaya mo.
Yes, but I
Oo,
didn't
naman.
apply myself lang talaga. It was really, I don't know. It's my fault, obviously. Nagpabaya ako at that time.
Pero
So,
ito, well, some people would like sasabihin may mental health problem pag kunyari hindi na kaya.
I didn't even know that. So it was no excuses.
Yun nga eh. So
Yung
parang
decision
now,
ko yun eh. Responsibilidad ko yun eh.
So how do you face those? Parang now, yun pag may academic debacle, parang how do you like surmount that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like this. One of the things that was important to me in college was even if we were getting low grades, my best friends and I would always read. We would have a book
That's
club
true.
in the
That's
Konya
true.
bench of all places. And one of
Siya
the
mismo nagsasabing Konya bench.
call it the way it is. Diba? So,
Okay.
one of the books that I read that changed my life. It took a year for me to finish it.
What is
was
it?
Robert Kennedy and his times. It was the biography of my personal hero, Robert Kennedy. And because he wasn't the most glamorous Kennedy, he was not the smartest,
Yeah.
but he was the most passionate about social issues, and he was the underdog. So yun talaga yung peg ko.
Yan tayo, no? Hooray
Diba,
for the
underdog. And
underdogs,
his biographer, si Arthur Schlesinger, said that this man's weaknesses were essential to his strength. To me, I remember that very well because yun nga,
It
it's the
resonated
idea
sa'yo.
how do you use a weakness and surmount that and use that like jujitsu it and make it
We'll get into that later.
and make it
Okay.
into something that is personally yours, authentically yours, and people identify with that more because
Yes.
it's hard to identify with somebody who's perfect.
That's true.
And certainly
That's
we're not perfect. So at the end of the day, that has helped make me understand yung tinatawag na resonant leadership.
That's true.
By being more human,
Yeah.
overcoming and transcending difficulties, to use a Philo 101 term, and to be better as it is. And that's more
Nagkaroon
authentic.
ng Teachers Day the last time. Tapos, well, conversely, as teachers naman, sabi nila, we're really not there to like shepherd the brightest people because they can like manage. They can like read books and then be excellent. We should be like us, apostles of the average, I guess, so to inspire them more. Di ba? Lahat. Di ba?
all sinners have a past, all saints have a future.
Diba?
Or saints have a past, all sinners have a
Remember
future,
those
right?
people, yung mentors mo, that were able like, to bring the best in you, no? So parang yun yung mangyayari.
Tama yun. I mean, the issue there is, for me, and I can only speak for myself, is I didn't take anything for granted because I had to earn every single benefit because
That's
it was
true.
harder for me to learn. Nothing was easy nothing was given to us on a silver platter. And yung consuelo de bobo ko is I didn't peak too soon. It was always bawi, kailangan ng bawi. Diba? I took my last
Pero hindi na ngayon.
I took my last master's degree at 42. Diba? That's not the
Ilang taon ka na raw, sabi? So 5 years, 45, no? You're
46.
46.
Yeah, so you mean say if I had peaked too soon, I would have burnt out too soon.
That's true. That's true. And you see that in batchmates, huh?
Absolutely.
Mga ganun.
And like I said, it's a question of perspective. Yeah.
But in the end, you'll never realize that until it happens. So parang yun nga, when you see a bigger context.
Yes, and then with God's grace, it has helped me understand.
That's true. Next one. Ito daw yung nagde-determine ng mga principles mo sa buhay. What was the thing or that part in your college life that made you really angry? Because those are the things that would like determine your priorities and what you stand for. Yung mga kinagalit mo talaga.
Inside the college or outside the college?
Well, during your college life.
yung the concept
parang
of
feeling mong na violate or na step over, parang you wouldn't tolerate such kind of
no, I think the
or you
idea
feel
that
strongly about.
I think this is the idea that we had back then, although Gen X coming, so it's not as prevalent. But you see it now with the millennials and the post-millennial. Not to stereotype, but the idea that living in a bubble in Ateneo,
That's
diba?
true. That's
Yun yung
true.
problema ko. Yun yung not as mulat,
Yung
for
hiwalay,
example.
parang
out of
immersion
touch.
ka pag ano.
Yeah. So yung issue na yan is Ateneo can be a great way, especially if you're applying your philo and theo
That's
subjects
true.
and
That's
or your
true.
core curriculum. But it can be a bubble in the sense that yung feeling ng entitlement, and that happened to me in second year. That's why
okay.
that's why I saw out of touch. That's why I lost my way. And at the end of the day, it could have been touch and go for me if I didn't get myself back. Yung issue na yun is because
Was there a question in lifestyle? Parang eventually?
Ano naman, it was just
Because you're being aware of the social conditions would like challenge.
Yes,
you'd be more simple.
which is why I think that idea of the immersion in, for example, in our
Third,
liberation theology class,
year, yeah.
in our philo, moral philosophy class. At that time, we had 16
So
units.
naapektuhan
diba?
ka?
Yes.
Okay.
And then at the same time, you get
And he's then not concerned about his face. Kami ko ganun, not about that.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, so yung sa akin is that time was a realization na look how lucky you are compared to everybody
That's true.
else. And in fact, the first, just to give you an idea, in
That's
fact, Senator Rocco wanted to teach me a lesson. First exposure sa kanya, first days we were in Barangay Tatalon. I was the one he chose the most. Because we spent the whole day in the underground sewers of the informal center community. The whole day.
Eleng.
He wanted to see, susuka ba ito? Hindi. Kakayanan ba niya? And to me, it was fine because I'd been exposed before. But
Yeah.
the idea that if you're not living beyond the bubble,
That's true.
you will be exactly what's happening to the leadership today, which
That's
is really far off, not in touch, and
My
not
statement siya doon.
not
Ang galing.
resonating, not not responsive to
That's
the
true.
problems of the
May
country.
disjunct, no? So it's that. So it's really at that point, the anger was geared towards yourself.
Yes, that parang I'm not applying myself.
Okay.
Diba?
Okay. A point when you were fearful, frightened, natakot ka talaga na hindi ka papasa?
Yeah, grabe
talaga?
yun. Kasi,
That's very
you know,
real.
and I have a friend.
Si Quintin, parang people from San Agustin
We got the same. There was a question of different letters. It was different letters. With the same QPI was one guy. I was slightly higher. This other guy got kicked out, and he went to PSBA. And I stayed because they gave me a chance. So feeling ko, it was just by the skin of my teeth. 0.1% could have kicked me out. So I was lucky.
Okay.
And of course, yun yung inflection point na
Pero
sinasabi.
how did you surmount that? Yung tipo kasi maraming tao nag-give up na lang.
No, you make a deal with yourself.
You did.
You say this either you go down or there's nowhere else to go but
Ano yung
up.
sacrifice mo? Walang love life nun.
I
Natawa ka.
I think I had a long.
Kasi yung love
No,
life after
I had a
college,
long
diba?
distance relationship that time, so it was actually quite
Ikaw lang talaga.
supportive. Yeah. No, but it was the idea. Look, your parents are middle class parents. They're trying to help you with your tuition. It's not you those things you take for granted, because a lot of yung barkada naman namin is like they're all well off.
Okay.
Not all of us were as
Ang
fortunate.
galing mo nga. Well, because you struggled. And then, time when you were so competitive. You are, ha? Aminado ka, tanggap mo that you are competitive.
Yes.
Kasi you're into sports also eh.
Yeah.
Pero ang maganda lang sa mga sports people, madaling kunyari, may failure, mas madaling mag-accept ng failure tapos mag-move on.
Yeah, I mean, athletics has helped. Like, for example, my best friend at the time, Javi Carvalho, who got into the Northwestern University MBA program, which is the number one program at that time. I mean, yung essay niya was about being the captain or being the leading in the football team and applying that to life and business. I think sports is a good metaphor.
Yes.
So,
and how did you get there? Kunyari,
I used to row for Ateneo.
Yun na nga, may nag-react sa akin, president pa yan ng rowing team.
Yeah, we have the SEA Games next week, in fact. So, we'll talk about that.
So you're playing?
No, I'm the team manager and the president. So it's so next week
hats, no?
so next week lalahok ang Philippine team for the Southeast.
Saan?
Sa Subic. We have a makeshift course there.
Kailan yan? So it's a support.
That is which is December 5 to 8.
Okay. Supportan ka namin dyan. So competitive ka talaga. Yun, aminado ka dyan.
Yes, especially the stakes are high. In this case,
And that's good.
you know, it's the country. Eh, diba? At the same time, you know, nagkakanta
Tama
bulilyaso yung organization of the games.
And those people we interviewed said, it's not the edifice, it's not the budget, it's not about the politics, it's really about the athletes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the athletes have to perform. No excuses na hindi handa
That's true.
yung facilities or whatnot.
That's
diba?
true. Most embarrassing situation in college.
Most embarrassing situation.
Ano yung tipong, seryoso, hindi ka naman seryoso. Actually, pag nagpa-punchline ka, poker face. But I mean, well,
Nag-iisip talaga ako.
were you really just serious or square during college? Hindi, di ba? But
Square in
pero
introvert.
yung tingin sa'yo ng tao ganon. But we've seen that side. na talagang,
Introverted talaga. It takes a lot to be doing.
talaga?
I think okay, so I'll give you an example. So in height.
Ikaw naman loko tong tao.
Oh, in
Loko
Heights,
ko.
this is funny. This is actually why I went to Oxford.
Okay.
The Heights, you know, and I've forgiven them already.
Heights at the literary
I was in
magazine.
the Heights literary magazine for 1 year, and for some, nagda-double blind submission yan, diba?
Okay.
For some reason, napasok ko sa editorial committee when my poetry was there, but double blind yan, so they don't know what it is. So they picked up the poem, they started reading it. They didn't know ako yung nagsulat.
Okay.
Diba? And at least I knew akin yun, diba?
Okay.
But they were saying, you know, this is nice, but it's too Konya. And I'm thinking, how
sakit.
does poem? No, not really. I was thinking, how does a poem become Konya? Why are you putting a class?
It's a point of view.
Why are you putting a class lens?
naman.
Why are you
Maganda
putting a
naman
class lens on what is supposed to be about poetics, rhythm, you know, voice,
Yes.
and structure, which
Yes.
is what we learned at Oxford. So if you apply those rules to these guys, they're thinking, what the hell are you talking about?
But third world poetry, of course, you know, will have context, huh?
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
difference is you're looking at your personal bias and
That's
not looking
true.
at the actual
That's
merit of the poem. So at that case, that was quite embarrassing to me, and I vowed that one
Pag
day.
susulat ka, ayun na.
Yes,
No,
so-
ako na magyayabang kasi hindi ka naman magyayabang eh. So he just like got his book award.
Well,
Di ba?
I was the editor for the National Book Award,
National Book Award.
of Ambahan, which is we translated the
Yes.
Ambahan of the Mangyan mismo.
Yes, ang
and
galing.
I was just with them last Wednesday.
Very important
And
study.
now, because of that study in the book, I could not write in anything but Ambahan. So my poetry is Ambahan now.
Adi okay?
Yeah, which is why I got infected in a good way. So it's, you know, as Benazir Bhutto said, success is the best revenge. So for the Heights editorial board of 1992,
Now go.
you know, Oxford has published my poetry. So that's all I'll say.
And then, well, of course, the best weapon is a good work. It's there.
Yeah, exactly. So FEU is going to publish the poetry in
Hindi mo nilapit kay
2020.
Karina. Karina loves us.
Well,
She's here
I don't-
Ateneo, and we'll see her later.
that might have been too biased. May iba naman.
No, parang coming back to Ateneo.
No, it was fine. I mean, it's come full circle to me in terms of that experience was embarrassing but instructive.
46. Anyway, saan ka pinaka nasasenti coming back to Ateneo? This is a time of the year when you have reunions
No,
and all.
I tell you, I mean, the prayer room is important to me.
That's
I've recently
true. That's
rediscovered
true.
my faith, and coming to the
And
prayer
then,
room is
parang
important.
bago ka pumunta sa kahit anong building sa Ateneo, dadaan ka talaga ng chapel.
Yes, and I'm not talking about the new chapel. I'm talking
Okay.
about the old chapel.
Yes,
Yung kasi
of course,
yun yung
of course.
kinalakihan natin, diba?
Yes, yes.
So for me, the idea of rediscovering my faith and going back 25 years where I didn't believe.
Talaga?
Because if you think you're too smart for yourself, the last
That's
thing you
true.
believe in
That's true.
is a rigid definition
How's
of
your
God.
prayer like? Well, what do you pray for?
You know, I
Ako
just
kasi walang form prayer. But mamaya.
Well, I do have formal and you know I went to both a Jesuit and an Anglican university.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Oxford and Cambridge are Anglican
Yes.
universities, and then I tend to
But do you
be
have
more.
specific petitions or what do you...
No, there's formal prayer which is important, but to me personally, it's the way of being more stoic. I've been reading a lot of the Stoics lately, and the idea that you pray that whatever you do is enough, even if it doesn't get the results you want, for as long as it's within God's will.
Nagbago na, no?
Nagbago na.
When
Rather
you're
than
younger,
asking for something, it's really more, can I be useful? Have I made the most of my time?
And thank you.
So the Jesuit examen or even the Opus Dei conversation with God, that's the same feeling.
Ako simple, parang before I sleep, I like look for that instance or that person or that event where I find God. Tapos sabi ko, uy, walang silbi yung araw ko, hindi ko siya makita. And you'll just say thank you. There should be the presence of like the Lord there.
Yeah, because the man...
Hindi, wala ka nagawa dyan.
Yeah, the 18-year-old pimply faced kid as opposed to the 46-year-old rash faced kid I am now is who has no sleep is basically the difference is that the center of the prayer or the petition is now outside, not
That's
me.
true.
That's changed.
And everything, no? Parang it's not about us anymore.
Yeah, and so if we remember our Philo 101 or
That's
102,
true. That's
it's the
true.
I and thou of Martin
Yes,
Buber.
yes,
The
yes.
idea that we just talked about this the other day, and the sense of
Galing,
irony,
no?
the sense of the other. So yun yung ingrained sa akin.
I talked to the reporters, ang sinabi, ang pagkakaiba talaga ng mga tenista, parang it's not about the report, it's not about like us. It has to be about people and people benefiting from that. So
Yeah, it's not the content, it's the context. Diba?
that's
So yeah.
true. That's true. So you realize that when you're
Yeah, and so for me, I forgot about everything I learned in Ateneo. But if it wasn't for the Philo 101, 102 classes, which, by the way, because I was so tamad, I didn't register on time, I got Gus Rodriguez. So yung Philo was from 7:30 to 9 in the morning at 7 in the morning.
Wala pang traffic
With ang tagal na nga ng traffic, wala pang flyover yata.
I remember, batch ka ba ni Mikey ko ako?
One batch below, yeah.
Na tipong
No, but you see, but that was a learning experience for me kasi
That's true.
mahirap na magtagalog at that time.
That's
Diba?
true,
7:30 to 9, puyat pa kami. But at the end of the day, I learned the hard way. Gus was a great but tough teacher. And then when it came to Dr. Clamor and then Father Nemi, we really absorbed what it was. And even if I didn't get high grades then, I remember everything.
So you talk about frustration kanina, it was a necessary process. When did you feel most valued when you were in college? San yung value ng Q ni Quintin? Call him Q.
I don't think I was very valued in college.
Talaga?
In fact,
May low self-esteem naman.
No, because the funny thing kasi is to be honest, the demographics of Ateneo at that time was majority of the people still went to the Ateneo High School carry over, La Salle carry over.
Did you feel like dapat talaga parang you would have excelled?
No. I just think that we are fishes out of water. That's basically it. How many San Agustin people, how many IS and Southridge people come together? Yun yung barkada ko eh.
Well, yeah.
So we felt like outsiders.
Yeah.
Diba? So at the end of the day, to me, I didn't feel. It was nice to feel like an outsider. That's what I always feel like.
Okay.
But at the end of it, I never really blended in until siguro the fourth year when I got into Central Board.
Okay, most memorable teachers and why?
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. Father Nemi, moral philosophy. I still carry
saw him
it
recently
today.
in the games.
Yeah, great mentor. Even after school, we talk to each other.
Okay.
And then, Father Balchand, Theo of Liberation. I still, I had to go to a second-hand bookshop to get the Theo of Liberation book because that changed me. I didn't pay
His
attention to
language
that.
is very exact.
Yes, and look at Pope Francis now. The idea of the church being militant for the cause of social justice.
Galing.
To me, very important.
Okay. Who did you remember more? The terror teachers or those that made friends with you? Kasi nag-iba now, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang wala na yung mga terror. People are more receptive to learning if
Sure.
yun, mas open to learning when
But the teachers naman kasi who were tough were the ones that I remember the most.
That's
Kasi
true.
they're the ones who
Hindi ba
instilled
signs of the times then? The strong leader.
Yeah, no, but true.
Di ba?
Totoo, but I think the idea of the rigidity of the discipline of thinking.
Kailangan
diba?
natin nun, di ba?
Look, I mean, to me, there's a common thread across Raul Rocco or my professors at Cambridge or Oxford or
Excellence
Gus
was not
Rodriguez
compromised.
or Father Nemi, for example. It's the same. I'm, as Senator Rocco used to tell me, who's a big Jesuit fan because he went to Ateneo grade school and high school. He's saying that Ateneo de Naga also. He's saying, look, this is not about. Father, which is Anthony de Mello, was his favorite Jesuit. And he was saying, you're not. Am I going to chew the food for you, or are you going to learn this yourself? In my case, it's like I had to learn everything from scratch.
Galing nga.
Diba? And to me, I can call it my own. That learning, even if it's not perfect.
Okay, memorable batchmates. Now they're watching. Okay.
No, everybody was memorable.
No.
Yeah.
Sino yung tipong,
I think to me and the person I still kept in touch with, even if.
kasi di ba extension of yourself and your goodness and your aspirations.
No, the ones who've cultivated my respect.
Ganda. Okay,
Definitely.
listen.
No, and because we were on the opposite sides, I don't think his friends are my barkada a lot, and then we never got along.
Pero may ganong exchange.
But after that, we've earned each other's respect, and I look up to him as a leader and a very good individual. Joval Pantanco to me is my.
He's back.
He's my peg of what a gentleman leader, and he's gone through a lot in his life also. So at the end of the day, to me,
He wanted to be here. Hindi lang siya available dito. But next week, have him yan. Joel reunion.
Joel is a consummate gentleman. And at the end of the day, if there's a leader that I could look at who's gone through, and not everything
I knew
was
his
easy for
love
him.
life.
Maybe you should ask him.
But yung season and then Pauline Suaco during that time, during college.
So if you look at a life like Joel's, which has had its twists and turns also, as he'll tell
That's
you.
That's true. I'm happy he's back.
And we were never barkada in school, to be honest, to begin with.
Basketball player yan, ha? Parang meron talagang baseline sports, di ba?
Exactly. But at the end of the day, that's it. The respect I've had over 25 years is the people who've actually proven themselves, regardless of
who else.
Barkada.
Joe Valhelo.
Of course, my really good friends Javi Carvalho. Because all of us who started out talaga as misfits in the school.
So Mike Alimurong was not your batch?
No, actually, Mike Alimurong was 3 batches below because he's the best. He's my other best friend because my other best friend from 4th year college was Ray.
Ray was my student. Or was he your batchmate?
He was my batchmate, but we only got close in the 4th year. Okay. Actually, we grew up in the same street, but we were super unalike. He was a smart person. I was medyo bulakbol, diba? So,
pero since you were lumped together, isip ng mga tao nerdy.
I think that what drew us together, if you look at the Javis or the Jovals or the Ray, actually, despite their intelligence or beyond their intelligence, beyond the intelligence is the love for reading. And if there's anything that has changed my life with my learning disability, and why we're building 1,000+ libraries now, it's because of the love of reading, and that was, and I got that from them,
and
not from.
It's only in academia.
We would actually, to be honest with you, now that the grades don't matter, we used to cut class just to read.
Really?
Yeah.
A better pass for some. Okay. Next, batchmates. Best advice you got from anyone in school. So Raul Rocco gave you the advice
from school. Yeah. It's all my friends, my barkada.
What advice did you seek?
I think,
kasi di ba para pag ganyan, you seek the advice of the people na walang kabig, walang interest.
Yeah,
so,
I mean at that
ngayon, in your life decisions.
At that, and this is a Raul Rocco quote again. So he said, true wisdom is the capacity to receive. My problem was in college, I didn't want to listen. So all the best advice came from unsolicited advice.
Or
so
from
my
your mistakes.
Yeah, from my mistakes or best friends. My best friends are the ones who have all tough love.
Now, will they tell you?
Yeah, actually the best friends I have now, right? So let's say Ray Alimurong, Jake Atmaitan, or even Javi, or all these people are the people who say, you know what, this is your mistake.
Okay.
Ito yung maling ginawa mo.
Pero malalaman mo lang yan, accept mo lang yan pag naranasan mo. Parang dadaanan mo talaga.
I think tough love is where your best friends come in talaga.
That's good.
Yeah.
So next, the best thing that Ateneo taught you.
I owe everything to the core curriculum.
Okay. We had just had Benji Toloso's in charge of the core curriculum. Yes. Well, it's a well-rounded.
It's a well-rounded, and they should bring back more philosophy. To be honest with you,
that's true.
So to
and
me,
more Filipino, I guess, no? Because at least Tagalog, now it's needed in the field.
Yeah, now it's needed in the field. But then in that case, you have to argue. Maybe you have to bring Bisaya in the
curriculum. But that's your unique selling proposition.
Regardless of the language, it's the capacity to reason critically.
Yes.
And the second thing is, to reason critically is good, but without the social justice component, it becomes clever.
That's true.
And clever is the worst reputation you can get. I'm an employer now. Mm-hmm. Do you know we don't hire Ateneans?
Why?
We hire people from the University of the Pacific. We hire people from PUP and PNU. Because there's that critical thinking is there, especially for the UANP guys. And secondly, the humility is there also. Okay. So what I'm saying is
why not the Ateneans?
Well, not all of them are like this, but to me, the idea is, I guess we know you're smart. But will you take the extra mile? Will you have the grit to solve the problems? It's malasakit, but it's also resilience.
That's
grit.
True.
Grit is such a cliche, but it is the word that makes me who I am. And so I don't really.
Determined ng school ba yun?
Yes. And determined of the environment. If the environment is so echo chamber, if the environment is so insulated, it becomes a problem. And we had a problem. We're not immune from it. In fact, I had to unlearn that. But I think for the Ateneans, I know that I would hire if we had another job opportunity. It's the ones I want to see that, great, matalino ka.
Yeah.
Sapientia et eloquencia. Right?
Yes.
You have both.
Yes.
But the question is, where's your malasakit? And secondly, don't tell me you're going to leave in 3 months because you didn't want to do the extra mile. Because that's an entitlement thing.
Pero didn't you see that in yours? Parang after 3 years, iba na naman yung trabaho. Well, kasi during the time of our parents, stay in a job and then you work up the ladder.
It wasn't the time you spend there; it's the value you contribute. So, like with me, I'll give you an example. No?
true.
And I found it. I'll send you a copy of it. I found my resignation letter to Senator Rocco, and he gave it back to me actually. And it was a letter that basically acknowledged I have so many limitations, and I'm going to improve on them, and therefore I'm going to go to graduate school. At that time, it was law school.
Okay.
And the lover line he wrote there is like, "This is very good. We will have a place for you. Thank you for everything."
come
And to
back.
me, that is not the Atenean I came in with. I came in as.
Okay.
I was the guy who thought he knew everything.
yes,
Diba? Everybody from the staff was from other schools.
Self-aware and then
Yeah, because he sinabon ako ng ilang beses. I was actually one of the worst staffers. I had to unlearn a lot.
learned.
But he was patient and he was disciplined, and I learned a lot.
Galing, no? May
So
story
if
talaga.
you can have the brilliance of the Atenean with the humility of somebody from a school that is middle class, that's the best of both worlds. Unfortunately, some don't have that.
Okay. Maganda naman. Well, since you went through a lot of sectors, learnings from the business sector or now entrepreneur, di ba? It's that.
Yeah.
With your energy involvement.
Yes.
You're always in Palawan, why?
We have a lot of projects in Palawan.
Yeah,
It just happens to be very nice. But most of the islands kasi there,
Grabe, properly curated yung Instagram, yung social media na naglinis ka ng social media.
now the pictures just take care of themselves. Because if it's a beautiful thing, all you have to do is click.
Pero ang galing. Cute.
The reason why...
Ikaw yun mismo?
Yeah, that's mine. I have
You have that eye too.
Sorry, no, I have a Leica camera in a Huawei phone. That's basically the secret.
Okay.
no, okay.
Artistic side of him.
No, so I'll
Yeah, go.
so one of the things, I had a graduation speech at the 50th anniversary of our school at San
Yes,
Agustin, and
yes.
the number one line I put,
Overwhelmed ka doon.
yes, overwhelmed.
Okay.
But the number one line I said that I will share here is, do not look for the position or the ambition. In my case, I wanted to be, like in my essays for school,
Yes.
the Oxford essay, I'm going to run for the Senate in 2020 blank, and this is how this education
I'll
works.
vote for you. I'll campaign for you.
That's the wrong way to go about it, I learned.
Yeah.
The right way to go about it,
But
if
the
you're...
people who are disturbing, they don't run.
But see, no, but
Yeah.
to your question about what has changed and what do you want to impart that you learned from business, it is number one, it is not about the position you're going to use.
That's true.
It is about the pain point you're going to solve.
That's true.
That's it. So that was the message I gave to the Agustinians last 2 months ago. Na number one, don't look to be the center of the Philippines, the next Roddy Duterte,
That's true.
the next Alan Peter Cayetano, God forbid. And at the end of the day,
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's not the position, diba? It's the idea, like, what problems are you going to solve? And are you going to create a social enterprise, an NGO,
Yeah,
a killer app, or in our case, a venture that will solve those problems? In my case,
Energy.
it's last mile delivery solutions for energy, because now the fisherman and the seaweed farmer will be able to thresh and triple their incomes because they have 24/7 power.
I want to go there.
It's not because I want to be president of We Energy Power. It's because that pain point is solved by me being in this company.
That's true.
Yeah.
And why there? Why in that sector?
That was Raul Rocco's thing to me. He said,
Get to
if you're going to be a technocrat, because I was telling Sir, you and I have watched Say Anything, the John Cusack film, which is my favorite film.
yes.
And the number one line there for my friend, I tell my friends who went to Lever and Procter & Gamble, all the smart people who got in, was, I'm not going to sell soap.
That's true. But
They lived great lives. I'm not going to judge them. I was just being arrogant also. So my point was, the pain point of energy is what Senator Rocco said. That's where the technocrat comes in. You don't have to brand energy. You don't have to put you don't have to differentiate it. You don't have to put a discount. You just have to create a problem solver in an area that needs it and doing clean energy. And when you solve that problem, you unleash the power of a community, which we've seen. And
So,
that's
with
beautiful.
you now dealing with local government and politicians even to further your cause, kumusta?
No, it's fine kasi yung issue dyan is you have a shared interest.
That's true.
Of course they want votes, but if the mayor wants votes, like for example, this lady mayor, wonderful mayor in Busuanga, si Mayor Cervantes, she's actually going to be at the groundbreaking next week for a new project. She's 33 years old.
Okay.
One of the most brilliant public servants. We are not may konsensya, but even if she wasn't like that, her number one line is, "Ba't walang kuryente yung mga constituent ko?"
Yeah.
in return, if she does help them with the permits to get the bread, then she gets the votes.
No?
So it's, as they call it, enlightened self-interest. That's why energy is good, because you don't have to be a certain brand, you don't have to be Tide or Colgate or whatever. You can be an energy provider, and in that area, you will galvanize the power of the people to be better citizens.
But you really see that need to like coordinate with government.
You have to, because it's a public good. And that's okay, kasi kaya nag-bonsai tayo.
Ano kayo yan kay Ilak? Ilak's doing something else.
Ilak is doing home systems and smaller systems, which is also valuable.
Good.
But that is the pantawid to what a grid is. A grid,
but
basically.
yours is parang okay.
A grid is basically...
Cover more people.
Yeah, grid is basically if I want to put 24/7 internet in the place, put a cold storage for my lobsters, or then you really have to have an advanced grid. So the projects that we've seen Ilak remarkably do is really a bridge, pantawid siya, to where we come in.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, bigger clientele.
And more sustainable, yes.
Ganda ng more sustainable. Next, the building of libraries. And Q, paano nagtatayap yan together?
Okay. So specifically to answer that question specifically, all our host communities that have power have a library. So inaangkas na lang namin. I mean, the physical making angkas of the books, because the biggest cost of putting up a library is not the building, because we use local government buildings. That's the law. The biggest cost is logistics. Thankfully, we have a partnership.
And how many libraries have you
we have now 1,001.
Ang galing, please. So tell them how you can partner with them and then put up a library, because that's your challenge.
Yeah, so
1,000 and
one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and your target is?
Our target was 200 by 2020. So we 5 times over the target.
Okay.
Because we have partners.
Yes.
Everybody from Land Rover Club to the Philippines that brings it up to Marawi where nobody can go.
Yes.
LBC that will bring it overseas to National Bookstore. I mean, we have all the partners that we need. All we are is a supply chain movement, which is really which is the pain point. Which
areas how do you identify the area?
Well, first of all, you have to have a good local government that believes in it, which there are a lot. Thankfully, with Nene Guevara of Sinergia, there are 300 that we're working with, and more. Secondly, what's the literacy rate like? Thirdly, is there infrastructure we can build with?
Pero paano? The books have to be specialized kung ano kailangan ng community.
So we have to consult with the local librarian or the local educating or the local school.
Sustainable yan.
So the curator. Yes, because the nice thing about having friends, again, this is the Ateneo advantage, or being in middle class, upper middle class. At this time of our lives, most of the people who are running these bookstores are our friends. So we never run out of supplies.
Si Mirza, nakausap niya. Book sale, di ba?
Yes.
Yun mga ganun.
We've got from book sale, but we get from Diwa Publications, which is the largest textbook publication.
Bringing all these books to the communities, di ba?
Yeah, we do, and sometimes we just have it brought because we don't like using our carbon footprint. But bottom line is, may sistema na siya. It's off the shelf. You can download it off the internet, the system, the MOA, and everything, and dekahon na siya. So every 2 weeks we have a new library.
Ang galing. And the target is, since surpassing 200 libraries in 2020.
The target is just to keep going, and more importantly, we have a partnership with the UP School of Library Sciences. We're going to hire for their internships to study a cross section of the libraries to see what we did right,
the greater need.
What we did right, what we can do better, how to sustain it better, and to measure. Because libraries in other countries have been shown to, number one, increase obviously literacy, but it's also been shown to lower the crime rate. It's also been shown, because they're now third spaces, to improve livelihood. So we want to get to there. So the libraries are not just libraries per se.
So my correlation to yan.
They're community centers, yes.
You see Intramuras now, hindi ba yung sa labas ng cathedral there's a library?
Yes. That's a shared space, and
and you want that?
Not really, because that is a nice PR angle, but it's not sustainable. It's not, because at the end of the day, you need somebody to curate the books.
That's true. Kasi kahit ano na lang yung lalagay.
The library has to have a librarian.
At saka paano yung umuulan, di ba? Parang
so it's, like I said, it's pantawid siya to raise attention to what a proper library should look like. And then you go to our library in Tondo, you go to our new library partner in Museo, which is our 1,000th library is a bookmobile that we're going to get that we're going to get Yorme Esco to drive around.
That's good.
With the National Library. Those are the ones that are sustainable.
Yeah. How did your interest get into this? Parang wala, because of writing? Because of like what?
No, because I had a mental disability, and at the end of the day, the only thing that cured me was not medication. It was being stuck. It was being stuck in the Corpus Christi College Library in Oxford because the pound to peso was 92 pesos is to £1. I could not afford anything but a kebab for one day. That was my budget.
Okay.
So I was a student at that time, and basically I was in a library that was like I'll show you a picture. The Latin library there was a nice old beautiful library overlooking the church. It was on the right side is where Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings. On the left side is where Alice in Wonderland was written. On the back side was where C.S. Lewis wrote Narnia. So you feel inspired. So yung question ko nun is, why don't we have that in the Philippines? So that's the birth of the library
also
partnership.
forced you to write.
Yes, and that was the forced me to think, oh, I'm lucky to have this.
That's true.
But what about the rest of us? Why don't we have that experience? And that's why we have a movement.
Next. You're being an author.
And that's belated. I had to earn my way to be that because I've had countless rejections, including of Ateneo Press. But thankfully,
what kind of things like do you want?
So basically, I've written a couple of non-fiction books on Anvil, which is good. Biographies are one. Then I wrote a book of collected sayings and quotes, and then now
You're launching one next year.
Poetry book, my Ambahan poetry book called Ambahan a Love Story is going to be out by June 2020.
Ambahan not
by FEU Publications, yes.
Okay.
And then
because Ateneans are there in FEU. Diba?
FEU has a very good appreciation of local culture. In fact, one of the reasons,
ang ganda-ganda na
and they have a strong focus on culture. Plus the idea that Mindoro is a very strong focus for FEU because of the Tamaraw.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, the Montenola family, who was really pushed for the arts, have recognized the Ambahan is our contribution to the world. It is our sonnet. 50 poems. Danton Remote is translating into Filipino, and the Mangyan are translating into Surat Mangyan.
Ang galing.
And so that is going to be launched in June 2020.
June 2020. The title being
Ambahan, a Love Story.
Okay, Ambahan, a Love Story. Not a love story, but it was about your place of journey.
Yes, I mean it's a metaphysical story basically. And 50 poems.
Saan mo padadalhin yung pagka-author mo?
So I have a set of fiction books. I have a fiction collection that I finished at Oxford and is now going to be published.
Nothing
also.
About energy, nothing about like something that would be a source book for what you're doing.
No, but the plan is, since we're back in Ateneo, is maybe in a couple of years, maybe a year or so. I was talking to Dr. Mendoza already, Dr. Ron Mendoza, who's a batch below me in school. That I might want to enroll in the PhD program for leadership because I want to do a leadership book. Because in these days, where it's so hard to point to one decent leader, is there still a Filipino brand of leadership?
Before you do that, actually get the thoughts of leadership from the Pinoy, our prototype Pinoy leaders.
Exactly. And in Bloomberg when I was there, I had 60 interviews of Pinoy leaders, thought leaders, right? So I have a base. I will interview more. So the question I will ask is, in light of all these depressing examples, is there really still a bona fide Filipino, tunay na Philippine leadership? And I know there is, but I have to do a methodological study. And what better way to study it than Ateneo now has a leadership studies. Actually, they have a leadership studies program. So to me, I think that methodology will help me.
Back to school, so
I think so. Maybe in a year or two.
Okay, sige.
If we can afford it, the tuition is so much higher than last time.
No, but when you teach here, it's by 50% discount.
Sige, I'll take your advice. I'll take your advice.
Tama yun, parang ang creation of new knowledge. At least when you get older, that's your legacy already.
The legacy is the fiction book is really because of I really want to write fiction, and the poetry is obviously because I want to do that. But the important book, the last book I'll ever write, is that is the leadership book.
Okay,
that's my legacy.
That's good. Sports. Okay. You're into that still or always? So
as much as I can.
So rowing team when you were in
Ateneo and Georgetown,
Okay, and then the jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu is my therapy basically. Jiu-jitsu is like problem solving. It's physical problem solving.
Sabi naman, sayang naman mukha mo masisira.
Wala namang sapakan sa jiu-jitsu.
Malay mo, pwede
No, jiu-jitsu is human chess. It's basically evolved as a martial art. So it's basically human problem solving because there's so many ways to end the fight.
Okay.
And the most peaceful way to end it is for the opponent.
That it's too, di ba?
No, it's actually the most gentle. It's called the gentle art because if I were to go and let's say I win a fight, the way I would win the fight is I would submit the opponent. They have no choice but to tell me to stop. That's what jiu-jitsu is.
and you just follow. Pero nakakasakit ka, Q.
No, if they persist and want you to hurt them, it's up to them. But to put them in a submission hold or a lock or a choke, it's up to them. All they have to do.
You ever apply that to anyone? Like, kunyari,
Yeah, when we spar naman, or if it's applied to me and I know I'm going to pass out or break my,
oo nga.
you just tap.
Pero maraming people feel for you because yun nga, no, ikaw nga yung ginaganyan.
It's okay.
Hindi
I'm sure a lot of people want to do that to me too. So
hindi raw siya yung nang-aapi, hindi raw yung
No.
Hindi ikaw yung nananakit.
I totally encourage you. In fact, it's funny. The irony nga is the Urban Ashram, which is a yoga studio, has adopted jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Because jiu-jitsu and yoga have the same physical movements.
By when did you study this?
Just 3 years ago. Very late.
3 years ago.
Better late than never. I wish I'd taken it earlier.
Oo nga raw.
But it's okay. It's a long.
Basta ito yung punchline natin. Yung mga tao kilala ka, sabi ko nun, si Q yung hindi nanakit, siya yung nasasaktan.
Ugat na yan,
Anyway, totoo, di ba?
It's a 10-year journey. It'll take 10 to 15 years before I get a black belt, if I ever get it.
Pero you're all for that.
It's my competitive streak.
Sabi na nga, makitang-kita. Next, media. Where are you bringing this media apostolate?
Two things. With ABS-CBN, where I have a contract now, it's really trying to use it as a classroom for investment and entrepreneurship, which is really the case talaga.
Yeah.
We need more entrepreneurs.
I'm proud that I was texting you pag siya yung nag-pinch it kay Karen sa Head Start. Uy, galing. And then nung nag-elections, okay, at least he's doing the things he should.
Yeah, we need more entrepreneurs. Yun yung focus ko.
I don't want you to be an armchair journalist. I told you this. You're not just reading the.
Oh yeah. No, that's why the show what we have in On the Money is we're really advancing entrepreneurship. So this is not just news reading, diba? So we are advancing entrepreneurship. We're talking with the best economists.
Nothing wrong. But skill din naman yung news reading.
Yeah.
Eventually you're cut out to do.
To create value in it. That's it. And then the second one is we have a podcast now. So I'm with Robbie Alampay.
Internet.
I have a small investment firm that actually has helped invest in Robbie Alampay.
Robbie's a good guy.
So Puma Podcast will now carry Life Sentences, which was my book before, in an our podcast. So I'm going to have a podcast on inspirational stuff. So Raul Roco's speech, Father James Donalan, his Christmas sermon is the other podcast. So it'll come out in December. So I'll share it with you.
Galing. And it's healing for you too, no?
Yeah, literature is therapy. It's catharsis.
Next, home.
Yes.
The large part is, touch ako when you post something about your mom and your family.
Yes.
Sobra yun, Q. Kasi ang sukatan ko ng mabait na tao, mabuting tao is malapit talaga sa
but that was a long journey also. Kasi, I was the black sheep of the family. My sisters were super matino. But
so
to me,
it had to be a process.
Yeah, it's a process, and now I'm making bawi. Now that my mom needs it more, when she was the one standing up for me.
Ako talaga parang my heart melts on you. Hoy, may tribute sa mom.
Better late than never. So basically, now that my sisters are both overseas, ako na yung nasa bahay. I'm there,
Barely.
No, I'm there half the time actually. Because where my mom is where the business district is. Where I live is a little far away. So basically, it works out really well.
So what's the routine like with your mom now? Kasi sabi mo parang as we grow older, we don't realize that your parents are growing older.
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea is you pay for it and you give back all the love as much as possible, even a fraction of what you gave you. So my mom has, as I will say, as you know, my mom has moderate to advanced Alzheimer's now, and that is a debilitating disease.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we have a caregiver, and thankfully my aunt and her family is also in my parents' house. And at the end of the day, I'm there just for continuity, but the heavy lifting is done by the caregiver. The goal I have is to make sure.
What are the rituals now? Like kunyari,
the rituals are basically.
Of a good son.
No, the rituals are just making sure you're there. At the end of the day, thankfully it's outsourced to a caregiver. But the idea of presence, it's a very Jesuit thing. Presence, accompaniment.
I actually asked ko as my spiritual director, sabi ko, anong sasabihin mo sa isang taong may sakit or mamamatay na or parang aalis na? You'll just say, I'm just here.
It's presence and accompaniment. That's really the case. In fact, just a bit of a plug. My last short story of the book that's coming out next year is coming out, and it's very much a Jesuit story. So I will give you.
Hindi ka conscious doon. No, it just came out.
It just came out, but I'm happy to share it with you as soon as it gets out.
You're living it out. Ako yun.
Trying to.
Trying to pa rin?
It's all in the effort.
Okay, go. Any time for love now. You have time for love.
Yeah, but yeah.
Wanted to pair you up with a lot of other people. Sabi ko, Q, available ka ba? Sabi ni Mike, hindi ko nga alam dyan.
Sorry.
Tinatago lang naman.
My private life is very happy and fulfilled.
At
That's all I'll say.
ang dami mo raw ginagawa. May oras ka pa?
Of course, everything leads to that.
Annette, sorry. These people we wanted to pair up.
No. They're better off without me. So.
Why? You're never confident about that.
No. It's a matter of fit. I mean, it's a matter of fit.
We've talked about learnings in life and business, etc. Greatest learnings about love.
Love, okay. Because this is related to what he learned in Ateneo.
Okay.
We had a subject, and I still don't know if we have the subject now.
Commitment.
It's the marriage and commitment,
yeah.
And they made us read the Road Less Traveled, which is the seminal reading, and to me, I still read that book.
Okay.
Because whenever I fall short, I will read that book and remember. And M. Scott Peck, the psychologist who passed away years ago, was saying that love it's not a feeling. Certainly, it's not a desire. It's not wanting possession. It is not just a commitment. It is the desire for somebody's spiritual growth. The Greeks call it kathex. I remember that. For all my ADD, I remember those little things. But that's the truth. And so to the extent that I'm good at that, is that then I'm good to somebody. That's it. And if I fall short, it's because I'm not good at that.
Tama rin, no? In leading the country, you lead the country like a family.
Yeah.
O, di ba? Parang your relationship is parang symptomatic of a relationship.
And there is desire for the growth of the other, which is the hardest thing to fulfill.
No?
Yeah, but it's a constant learning.
Okay, 5 things. Always. When I talk to people, number 1, dapat gumagaling ka. You're at your best when you're with your loved one. You're at that point.
Yeah, I think so. My faith is part of that. And
even that other person.
Yes.
Second, bumabait ka. Mas mabait ka naman ngayon.
Now, definitely. Yeah, the hard way.
Alam niyo siya nung nasa college, parang alas ka daw to, tsaka tipong aloof. You're aloof and this.
Yeah.
Third, you're closer to God.
I think so. I mean, well, not as close as I'd like to be, but definitely much better than I was.
Fearful.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it. The idea that there's no boundary between the way you are with your loved one and you are with God. It's the same thing. But this is Dr. Clamor, one of the toughest teachers we've had. But she was saying that Dr. Clamor was saying, the thing about religion is it's from that, it's the Greek or the Latin religare, which is the tie back to God.
Yes.
And that's the same relationship you have with somebody else that you love. At the end of the day, it's making the tie whole. Diba? Nurturing the tie.
Anong pinaka-gramming sacrifice for that? In keeping your love?
Not just being
Kasi we all felt for you. Sabi ko, siya yung inape.
Just being a better person. I mean, to me, that if you are a better person, then your relationships get better. It's symbiotic.
Tama naman yun. But when these young people tell you or ask you, Kuya Q, when is it time to let go of a loved one?
Okay. It depends on other people, but you're not growing. That's one thing. But there's this line that I remember very well. Because
talaga yung parang Kuya Kim, di ba?
Not the quote I remember the most, and that's how my that's how my brain works. It's a powerful quote I'll remember.
Yeah.
Parang when the the feeling when love begins, and you never know when it begins. It's always growing, but you certainly will know when it ends.
Talaga.
You know it. And the second thing is,
that's what the philosophy was. The fullness of the acceptance of love is the reality that it will end. Or the acceptance of death even.
Yeah, or the acceptance that you're not in control. And at the end of the day, all you can do is Rainer Maria Rilke is to border, salute, and protect each other.
That's true.
And if the growth isn't in that framework, then they're better off with somebody else.
Nakaya mo?
Oo naman.
Hirap, you struggled.
Yeah, but it also made you much better. So that's a wonderful consolation.
Balita ko yung dati mong love, competitive Kasi ang daming iba pang mga nagka-interest.
No, I don't.
And you felt triumphant when you were doing it.
No, in fairness, and this is a private life thing that I don't really like talking about. But to be fair, I mean, it's just a question of fit. Diba? And at the end of it, that's all.
Pero ang hirap, no? Ang hirap to accept that.
Yeah. But like I said, diba? Maybe
you grounded yourself and
maybe you're more maybe aged, reading the Stoics. At the end of the day, there's only so much you can do, and the worst you can do for your self-esteem is to make pilit.
That's true. But then you can only do that, let go, when you can tell yourself or tell your God that you've done everything to save it.
Well, that's true also. But then, you go back to the Jesuits again, and then the Jesuits in Georgetown have this saying, cura personalis, the care for the whole person. And if that isn't happening to you,
And part of letting go is like,
part of letting go is self-care.
that's true.
Diba? If it's not making you happy, what the hell? Diba?
I mean, you're taking care of yourself.
I think so. Not as good as I'd like, but yes.
Now, integration of your love life and your family and your other things. Ang hirap mong mahalin, Q, ha?
No,
with all these things?
No, not really. I mean,
Wala kang oras?
no, it's not about time. It's about connection. About the idea that everything connects. So in my case, it's
Wala, ah. Well,
no, it's about the satisfaction you get about of being the best you can. And if there's another person who feels that way with
but
you,
integration, kunyari, with your family, with your work, with your future, with your plans for
yes.
future.
So again, thank you, Ateneo education. The Aristotle said that true happiness is the full use of your true happiness is the full use of your powers along the lines of excellence in a life according to scope. That is the best definition of love for me. I have the same feeling.
Again.
True happiness is the full use of your powers along the lines of excellence in a life affording them scope. And if you find somebody who feels the same way, you got a great relationship.
That's true. And you found that out really late na, no?
Yeah, better than ever.
That's true. And the last one, yun nga parang, your commitment to your country, your community should be shared.
I think so. I mean, parang, at the end of the day, it seems hopeless that I had a saying before in fourth year, and that's probably why it was so arrogant to hear me say it before with people who didn't want to help. I still say that now, but nicer. Which is, if people say, somebody goes, I like what you're doing with the libraries when we started, or I like that you're going to Montalban Rizal or San Mateo Rizal to do catechism, or I like the fact that you're doing this, but it's just a drop in the bucket.
That's true.
But my answer to that is, well, at least it's in the bucket.
That's true.
Rather than be frittered away doing something else.
But how do you make sense in connecting all of these? Nasaan yung pagbubuo?
There is an invisible hand that connects all these things. And I think the idea there is...
And then yung magsasabi sa'yo na ito, spend time in this, and then now, there will always be that kinda, okay, maayos din lang.
Maayos din yan eh. Things will fall into place. And this is where I learned my work with the government. And I was just with President Ramos, my old boss. That's why I was late, so I apologize.
Yeah, no problem.
But, he in the National Security Council, we were asked to work with the Asian Social Institute to do actual social things, not just security things.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mina Ramirez, who's still alive today and doing very much good work, she was saying that the answer to all these questions of dissonance and so many things to do is in the language.
Huh?
So the Filipino language has the most unique way of solving problems.
That's true.
So for example, just two before I go, the question of work, the translation Tagalog is hanap buhay. If you equate to the urban and rural poor that work is not just a paycheck, it is a way to create and uplift life, then that becomes a purpose to them. And to me also, because it is about that. It's about fulfilling your life. Second is, when everything falls into place, the Tagalog word for that, of course, it's so ironic that I'm the one saying it, diba? Kahulugan, everything is falling into place. And that's what I feel, that everything is falling into place, because I think the purpose is not already what's in it for me. It's what can I do to be in the service of something.
But how do you know that you're there? You're parang may pagbubuo. It's like a religious experience, really. No? Parang may takot, but then you just plunge into doing it.
Yes, actually, I think the inverse is true. Just like I was telling about, you don't know when love begins, but you certainly know when it ends. It's the same feeling. If you feel and this is the Gus Rodriguez term, hindi ka mapalagay. Diba? If you feel like you're the princess and the pea, and there's something missing, then you know that there's something else that you need to do. So I think not knowing what it is half the journey.
So it's just a leap.
And then it's a search. It's the Gabriel Marcel homoviator.
I know. And now, where does it lead to? The SEA Games. Well, what is there to learn from all of these?
No, I think
ceasefire daw. As a journalist, I asked that of the three interviewees kanina. Sabi ng government or representatives from the government, ceasefire now. Not talk about all these.
I'm very rational rational and stoic about it. Plus, I head a sports association that works with the government. I can just say it this: the athletes are like Archimedes. At the end of the day, you have to give them a place to stand, and they will change the world.
That's right.
Our rowers are the best.
Yeah.
Especially the women rowers, they're the best.
Okay.
We just need to give them a space to train, a place where politics doesn't interfere, and when they need the budget for their allowances, they get paid. Thankfully, to the credit of the Philippine Sports Commission, maybe not FISGOC, but the Philippine Sports Commission, who has traditionally been the supporter of the rowing team, is that our allowances are on time whenever we request something, for as long as it's reasonable. And at the end of the day, our athletes have been well taken care of. And we're open to sponsorship naman. So like my company sponsored their uniforms. Those little things, it doesn't take a lot.
Pero yung home court advantage, you enjoyed it or wala na? Wala na.
Everybody is rowing for the first time in Subic Bay, so it's a level playing field. It doesn't matter. For me, at the end of the day, if you give them a level playing field, just like in competition in the renewable energy sector, in politics, if there's a level playing field, may the best person win, diba?
Okay.
And I'm be happy with that. Hopefully we'll get gold, but I'm happy with the outcome because I think we trained well.
Also, ceasefire. No blaming, no whatsoever. Will that happen with journalists? Sinabi naman the fake news. Yung fake news, stop the fake news. Verify. It only happens to people na wala sa field, di ba?
Yeah, fake news is secondary. The interesting thing is, as again, we go back to Senator Rocco's saying, which is, do not blame the mirror for the zits on your face. It's the same thing. If there's a mistake, people will find out.
That's true.
So, my position, and I'm in the middle of the road because I'm also in a sports association, is let the athletes play. Let the games begin and do the audit day one after the medal ceremony.
Pero if there's something wrong in the conduct, report it
and save it for the audit. Let the COA people come in, let them investigate FISGOC, all these irregularities.
And then the priorities sa athletes.
Yeah, and if there's nothing to hide, then you shouldn't have a problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the biggest hurdles or challenges pa in the conduct of the SEA Games?
No, I just think now that the infrastructure issue is more or less resolved, I think it's the question of making sure that the athletes compete
with the best conditions.
We've got a storm coming next week, so it'll be interesting. No, but like I said, that's force majeure already. So the key thing there is just make sure
Pero kasama dapat sa contingency yun.
Meron naman siya. So the important thing is that our hosts, and this is not the Senate President's line that we have to deprive them of food. That's not the case. The case will be, can we be a good host and treat our opponents and our competitors not as enemies but as adversaries? There's a key difference. The adversary is someone you can triumph against in the context of sport. And that's what we're qualified. And that is what we're going to do. You know, my best friends are in the Indonesian rowing team, but I know
learn from them.
But I know from December 5 to 8, all gloves are off. We're going to try to beat you. But at the end, I'm going to shake your hand whether I win. That's it. That's sports. Diba? And then
ganun din sa politics. Huh?
Yeah, that's why.
and we can build after.
That's why you and I are not in politics.
I know. Just support. But I see you in politics. Eventually.
No.
Not at all.
The Rocco
maintain that.
The Rocco line to me stuck out very well, and his dying advice to me was just be a technocrat. You'll solve more problems better. And you get to keep your private life. Yeah. No, Mike has the extra ability to make a big difference, and that's why I think.
And the whole Ateneo team there. Well, I saw him train the Ateneo team there. Sa staff niya. Well, they're talking structures and systems.
No, Mike. And the nice thing about where Mike is, especially we have an Ateneo and also on the helm of Quezon City, is that it can be a model city. So, and the nice thing about it, it's now in talk about healthy competition, not adversary versus opponent versus enemy. You're now going to have competing models of governance between Mayor Vico, Mayor Isko,
very good,
and Mayor Joy.
Vico silently, against the big companies, eventually, or not as poor at all.
And there are different styles, but at the end of the day, people will.
Also.
Of course. Like I said, all these other, or even the mayor of Marikina, for example. So now you're looking at all these beautiful mayor of Iloilo also. So which won an ASEAN award?
And Baguio.
Yeah. Now now, and Mayor Dumogan. So the issue there is.
Hindi na dumogan.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
The new one, the military.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're looking at all these nice. You're looking at all these
new politics.
These happily competing.
That's true.
And now the next new mayors after the third term will now say, okay, I can now pick from each.
That's true. Galing. 25 years after graduation, biggest learning that still holds through now. You're talking to the Ateneans now.
You've been given so much. Father Galdon, who's no longer with us, had the video that we said, you are the creme de la creme. And that is still true. But you may not be hireable.
Yeah.
And you may not be liked.
Yeah.
Because you're either entitled or spoiled or have no grit, or your critical thinking facility is basically taken over by your entitlement. That doesn't have to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good part about it, and all you have to do, and no matter how diminished the numbers of units it is listen to your philo and theo subjects. That is what sets you apart from the graduates of other schools. Use it, embrace it, and at the end of the day, the bad stuff, that entitlement stuff, gets washed away with the good stuff.
That's true.
And that is what we as employers are looking for. And that was what we as a country are looking for also.
That's true too. So ang sabi nga, well, back to the core curriculum, we talked about it last week. See, it's really competence, it's commitment, it's compassion, and last probably conscience.
Yes. Moving for good governance has a three E's, which is simpler, which is be effective, which is what we're good at. We're very good at track record.
Yeah.
Be empowering, which is work with people. Don't have the solutions on your own just because I said so, right? Number 3 is be ethical. So at the end of the day, ethical, empowering, effective. We've done a study on that.
That's true.
If anybody had those 3 leadership capabilities, which is part of my thesis in the future in Ateneo, then we have a good country.
And in the end, the last C will be goes really Christ-centered. And in the end, prayer. It's really
prayer. Yeah.
Okay, we're off to the Ateneo Rizal Library to support the Ateneo Press. Thank you, Q.
Yeah, Noel, thank you very much.
Call for everyone during your alumni homecoming, 25 years after graduation.
Yeah, please, Silver Jubilee. It only happens. And more importantly, it's a chance to rekindle those values that we kind of lose out after those 20 plus years.
And past loves too.
Some things are meant to be closed. Thankfully, we don't have. Thankfully, our memory doesn't go that far. But Noel, thank you very much. This is nice full circle from my second year writing class with you. It was come full circle.
More books and we'll support you. Alam mo naman yun.
Yeah, and more power to your listeners and your program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And this has been Noel Ferrer, challenging everyone to be relevant and stay relevant. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and we'll see more of you. And we're really proud.
Okay, great. We've got a library to go to. Sorry, one last plug. Can I just say the part of the giving back also?
You have something on Tuesday.
There's a Georgetown lecture, but the one that's important that's in campus, there's a literature exhibit.
Okay.
So all the first edition signed copies of F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, Nick Joaquin, all these other makatang manunulat, they're all in the library thanks to Von Totanes.
So see him later.
So please go to the library. It's an exhibit. It's a rare book exhibit.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see more of you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you.
And nga pala, no? My college best friend is the brother of your
best friend. High school best friend.
High school best friend.
Yeah.
Small world. And then, sad luck situations. But then, sana reunions and really good situations at this point. The reunion.
And the rest of them are watching from above, so that's good. Okay.
Sige, go.
Thank you very much.
So, maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat
next
rin.
week.
Thank you.
And then, after next week, it'll be Ben and Ben on the 13th. So, maraming salamat. See you again.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay.
Feeling?
Christmas is here once again. I've waited all year for this season, for this one time when the whole world seems to agree. Christmas songs fill the air, the spirit of giving is everywhere, and I share my world with you as you share yours with me. Christmas is here once again. I've waited all year for this season, for this one time when the whole world seems to agree. Christmas songs fill the air, the spirit of giving is everywhere, and I share my world with you as you share yours with me.
Baby, it's my favorite time of the year. I've got your kisses to warm me when the nights grow cold. I've got you beside me, I've got you to hold as a million lights sparkle and shine. And I feel like the world is mine. Baby, it's my favorite time of the year. It's the season of love, my favorite time of the year.
Christmas is here once again. I've waited all year for this season. I can't believe I've got what I had been longing for.
Gifts for all to see, under a tall and flawless tree, and with you right here in my arms, how could I ask for more? Baby, it's my favorite time of the year.
I've got your kisses to warm me when the nights grow cold. I've got you beside me, I've got you to hold as a million lights sparkle and shine. And I feel like the world is mine. Baby, it's my favorite time of the year. It's the season of love, my favorite time of the year. Joy takes on a whole new meaning at Christmas time when I'm with you. If only I feel this way the whole year through. Baby, it's my favorite time of the year. I've got your kisses to warm me when the nights grow cold. I've got you beside me, I've got you to hold as a million lights sparkle and shine. And I feel like the world is mine. Baby, it's my favorite time of the year. It's the season of love, my favorite time of the year.
Di kailanman mapipigilan pagbuhos ng ulan. Ang buhay sadyang ganyan.
At kaya ng papago-bagong pag-ihip ng hangin. Lahat ay lilipas at magsasalita.
Huwag kang mabahala, huwag mataranta. Hindi kailangan ang mag-alilangan pa.
Isipin mo laging nandito lamang ang aking balikat, sa'yo'y nakaabang.
Asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang na pupuntahan.
kailanman, agad akong nandyan. Sang tawag mo lang.
At tuwing nagdidilim ang langit, di ba't nagpapakita ang buwan hanggang mag-umaga na naman.
Tara't hintayin na natin magsikat ang iyong araw hanggang sa magliwanag muli ang lahat.
Asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang mapupuntahan. Pangako kailanman, agad akong nandyan. Sang tawag mo lang. Asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang mapupuntahan. Pangako kailanman, agad akong nandyan. Sang tawag mo lang. Sang tawag mo lang.